The following program does not have a normal intro because I was really too busy smoothing other things over to get it done. So, Ori? Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Fun Program. I'm your host, Junior, with aka Good Lawgic. Look who's on time. Yes, sirree, Bob. I am smack dab on time in the house. 10 p.m. Boom. Good Logic out the door. Right here. Live from northern New Jersey. Just outside friendly New York City. Uber friendly New York City. Streaming to you. Coming to you with updates from the Iowa caucuses. The Iowa caucuses, which are going, I would classify as swimmingly well for Mr. Donald John Trump. Swimmingly well. Not so good because some of the enemies of the state, well, not enemies of the state, but I guess they're technically allies of the state. And that's part of the problem, like Nikki Haley. Not such a good night for Nikki. No, poor Nikki. It's a rough night for Nikki. Before we get into that, though, I thought I would share with you a moment totally unrelated to tonight's events. That was someone tagged me in, and I was like, this is so funny. This is so funny. And we are going to spend considerable time talking about the Iowa caucuses, the significance of the outcome, what, if anything, we can take from this. Because it is day one of our election season. And yet, we need to be mindful of the fact that Iowa has not correctly predicted the GOP candidate something like 20, 24 years. So that's a long losing streak. Should that be concerned that he won? Obviously not. But still, we should measure the significance and the impact this has not simply on Donald Trump, but on the other candidates who are participating therein. But before we get to that, I do want to share with you one thing here that someone shared with me and I thought was pretty funny. And you know that if I find something that's funny, I feel like it's almost a duty. It's incumbent upon me to share that with you, my fine viewers. So, without further ado, let's do. This was shared with me. This is apparently two lesbians trying to charge a car. Battery. Have at it, ladies.
Whatever you do, don't rub them together because you could catch on fire. Okay.
Catch
Plus
on fire.
Plus,
So
negative
with
negative.
Is the black the
You'll
dark
catch on fire.
Baby, I don't know. Plus with plus, negative with negative.
I don't know how to do this. So
Plus with
saying
plus,
this is
negative with negative.
I don't need no man.
This is negative, right?
I don't know.
Mine's written on there. Yours is not.
You said
Oh my
that
gosh.
was nice.
It's so
This
confusing.
one's plus.
So this has to be
It's
negative.
plus.
Okay.
Has to
Don't
be.
get sassy with me, B.
I'm not getting sassy.
Don't get sassy with me, B. That's a sentence I've never uttered in my life until just now. Don't get sassy with me, B.
See it all?
My
So
nipples
then-
are cold.
Then this goes here.
Oh my
What
God.
does an engine block mean?
I don't know, B.
Oh my god.
I wish I knew. You just sparked my...
You just told me. How did
I did not
Oh,
tell
you. Know why? Because these
Oh
are
my gosh. Wow. That was great. Let's do that again. That was great. There's sparks and everything.
Who just told me? How did
I wish I knew. You just sparked my...
You just told me. How did
I did not tell
you. Know
you.
why? Because these are
Oh, look at
I don't know
that.
what I just did. I don't want to do this. I'll just call somebody.
I'm just going to call somebody to charge my car. I got to call somebody. I don't need no man. I don't need no man. I don't need no man.
What I'm doing.
Oh, that smells bad. I don't want to start my car
Oh
now.
my gosh, the whole car is going to explode.
Try it again.
Oh my gosh, we're starting all over.
You're okay. You're all right.
You
I'm
got
sorry for
this.
getting sassy. You're okay. You're okay.
Don't get sassy
You're
with me,
right.
B.
You're okay.
I don't know how to get
You just
on
did it.
there.
You just did it, baby. You got it.
Oh
okay.
my gosh.
Good job. It's okay. It's on there.
It's not all the way on there. It's gonna fall off.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. This is Nikki Haley trying to get second place right here. You gonna make it? You gonna make
So
it?
this one goes there.
That fell off.
It's like they even have red and black for you. It makes it easier.
I don't.
Scared.
Red to
I'm really
red.
scared. Do you want
Red
me to
to
do it?
red.
No, you stay inside.
Yeah, you stay inside where there's no cars catching fire.
Hold on.
Hold on, we didn't blow up the car yet.
You gotta be.
You gotta be brave, be strong, be brave. You can do it. Wait a second, is that going on? I'm not sure that's right. It's hard for me to tell from here.
What's wrong, babe?
I don't know.
You got it.
It's sparking. I
Oh,
don't like
What do
it.
you mean it's sparking?
It's whenever I get it closer there, I don't
no.
like
Then take it off. Then take it off.
Oh, you just gotta ground the negative. You just gotta ground the negative. You just gotta ground it. You don't need to like look that one up. Anyway, I thought I'd share that with you so you can all appreciate, because we've all struggled at times with charging our cars, obviously. Who hasn't gone through that? Who hasn't? All right. All right. So with that out of the way, now that the crowd is starting to like filter on in, getting the notifications, all of them assuming, oh, Joe's going to start 12 minutes late again. Fooled all of you with that one. All right, Iowa caucus results. I'm going to just, without further ado, I'm going to give you live updates as of right now. 39% of the votes are in. Here are the numbers. Donald J. Trump with 23,736, 52.8% of the votes. Woo! 52.8 as of right now. 39% of the votes are in. And you would think that the major cities are probably his biggest problem. I mean, if you look over here, only 41% in Polk County, 45% here. The other counties, he seems to be having a more outside of the major cities. Sioux City seems to be a little bit better for him, a lot better for him. Although it's still early there. It's only 2% of the votes. So, yeah. In my honest opinion, without Trump there, Vivek would have 75%. Well, I don't know if you could say 75%. You might say he would have 59% because, Ron and Nikki are each taking 20 and 18.7 respectively. But yeah, I agree with you. Vivek is doing actually fairly well considering the fact that he's looked at as, Trump Jr. and running against Trump himself. I actually think that this is a fairly good showing for him and significantly higher than his polling numbers, which were like 3-4%. He's got double that so far. So if he finishes in this range over here, 7.78%, I actually think that's a pretty good night for him. That's nothing. There's no shame in that. No shame in that at all, considering the fact that he's not propped up by the media. And I think that you have to basically say that this is a disaster for Nikki Haley, fortunately, because not enough bad things could happen to her campaign from my perspective. I can't come up with enough bad scenarios to happen for her campaign that would actually, I'd say, no, that's too much. Don't let that happen. No. Whatever bad scenario you can envision for a campaign. And I keep stressing for her campaign, not for her personally, because I'm not wishing ill on her personally. There are a lot of people who are very flawed. Perhaps she's more flawed than many others, but I'm wishing terrible ill upon her campaign without wishing terrible ill upon her personally. And it's a really great sign. According to Chris Christie, I think he said that she pumped in $100,000 into Iowa. Like supposedly it was a lot more money than was that the number? Was it 100,000? It was like twice as much as DeSantis had pumped into Iowa. And I want her to finish behind DeSantis. I want her dropping out sooner rather than later. I want her entire campaign to flame out like Perez Hilton. Okay, that's what I want. I want her political career to carrot top. That's what I want. The analogy of her political career to be basically be carrot top, where it's like, oh yeah, that happened. Remember when that happened? That's when Nikki Haley should become politically carrot top. Now we're back to 38%. This is what's happening with the votes going backwards. We were at 39% before. Now we're back at 38%. What's happening? This is feeling like 2020 all over again. We were just at 39% like 2 minutes ago. Now we're back at 38%. Well, we're going to keep checking up on this as the night progresses because these are live results that are coming in. Latest results were from 1 minute ago. But I do want to share with you someone who's coping and seething. Coping and seething is the guy who should be really very thrilled with the results so far, all things considered. Still coping, still seething. And that's DeSantis, leader of the DeSimps. Florida Governor DeSantis campaign rips the media for projecting a Trump win. It's all the media's fault. They're in the tank. They're in the tank for Donald. Okay. Maybe that's one way of reading it. That's one way of reading the tea leaves. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis campaign Monday ripped into the media for projecting former President Trump's win in the Iowa caucuses, alleging election interference in calling the race. Yeah, maybe that could like push the needle like 1%, 2%, maybe. There's a certain percentage of people who like going with the winner. You're losing by 32%. He's got 250 times what he's got 2.5 times what you got. 2.5 times. More than that. Right? I mean, you got 20%. Let's do the numbers here. Whoops, that's not where I want to go. 53%. 53 to 20. So let's see. I'm just doing the math here. So if you double the 20, that would be 40. Then you do another half, that would be 50. And then you got another 3%. So it's basically like 2.8. You're struggling. Your struggle is real. The struggle is real. They are really struggling. But DeSantis says it's all the media's fault. Quote, absolutely outrageous that the media would participate in election interference by calling the race before tens of thousands of Iowans had a chance to vote. The media is in the tank for Trump. This is the most egregious example yet. Oh, yeah, we've seen this for the last 7 years. The media is all Trump, Trump, Trump. That's what we've been seeing. I don't know how anyone missed it. That for the last 7 years, we had to watch the media just sitting there, just kissing the ring of Donald Trump. They've been kissing the ring. That's what Ron DeSantis' camp thinks. The media is in the tank for Trump. This is the most egregious example yet. DeSantis' campaign spokesperson Andrea Romeo said, while smoking on mushrooms. AP called the race at 8:31 p.m. Eastern. Outlets such as CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News made the same projection around the same time. Yeah, Fox News, they're all about Trump. They're all about Trump. They've been after DeSantis for ages. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows it. And I agree with this. Vivek will end up as the MAGA heir apparent. That's almost certainly true. Caucus meetings kicked off at 8 p.m. Eastern, expected to vary in length across locations in the state, with some results available in as little as a half hour and others not anticipated until later this evening, according to Des Moines Register. When the projections put Trump as the winner, the second place winner was still up in the air, with Haley and DeSantis neck and neck for runner-up. Heading into Monday's closely watched contest, observers widely expected Trump to win the Hawkeye state, but DeSantis has been investing heavily in the state. He's completed a tour of all 99 Iowa counties, secured the endorsement of Iowa Republican Governor Kim Reynolds. The very early results show Trump winning big, but the early network call is a little questionable. Very questionable. Very sus. People are still at caucus sites and they have phones. How many people see the call and bail? That's almost definitely what happens. Some reported David Willis on X on a number of voices questioning the early call. Well, I'll tell you, like I said, could it affect the vote 2-3%? I guess, possibly. But I want to share with you all, because a lot of you may not come from states which caucus. I don't come from a state that caucuses. You might wonder, what's the difference between a caucus and a primary? I want to share with you a little video that I found, which does a great job showing the distinction. so you can appreciate what a caucus is. Because I think a lot of you might be wondering, what the hell is a caucus? And we keep talking about Iowa caucus. What the hell is that? Now I gotta make sure I have it here because I thought I had it and now I'm not seeing it, and that's not good. Uh-oh. Why don't I see it? Somebody been playing with my tabs. Although I think it was probably me who was playing with my tabs. It was me playing with my tabs. I found this really great 2.5 minute video. I was like, man, this is so good. Where are you? What was it? Is this it? Come on. No. Damn it. Frustrated. I don't think this is it. Damn it. All right. Well, at a caucus, it's somewhat different from a primary. A primary is much more like your typical election. It just is related to one campaign. At a caucus, you basically have a room full of people, and there's a bunch of rooms across the state where basically someone will get up and pitch a certain candidate, and they'll have one person pitching for candidate A, B, C, D. Why is everyone should vote for them? And then they cast ballots, put them in, throw them in there, and they count up the votes. Like real old school. That's one of the cool things about a caucus. It's very, very old school. I actually wanted to show you a little video of the caucus practice. And I'm not seeing it now. I apologize. I thought I had it here. I'm not seeing it here. So that's not going to happen. You're all going to have to just take my word for it. Just take my word for it. Best results. 1 Trump, 2 DeSantis, 3 Vivek, because Trump will attack number 2. That's his strategy, according to Tim Pool. Okay. All right. That makes sense. That's not. Look, I'm going to tell you this. As much as I am never going to vote for DeSantis. Like, no, I'm not voting for DeSantis. My level of enmity for DeSantis is not nearly as high as it is for Haley. So I recognize that Vivek is not at a stage in his political career where he could take down Haley and knock her into 4th. Maybe in a month that could change. That really could change in a month. If she struggles in South Carolina, which we're heading to New Hampshire, and then we're going to South Carolina. If she struggles in South Carolina, which is where she was former governor, that's her home state. If she struggles and can't even finish second in South Carolina, she's cooked. She's cooked. She should be in South Carolina. She should be coming in within like at least 10 points of Trump if she's going to have any chance here. Frankly, she should win the state. But here's a few things to consider. Someone tries trying to get your attention. Viva is streaming now, but they'd like you to invite him to join us. You two can discuss Iowa. Really? Let me see that. Viva is streaming now, but they'd like you to invite him to join us. You two can discuss Iowa. I can send. Viva streaming now. Someone in chat. I'm not seeing that. That's very funny. That's very funny. I don't see that where someone is trying to. I don't see Viva in my DMs and Twitter, which he knows where to find me. I don't see that, so I'm not sure what you mean here, Debbie. Let me look over at my locals and in Rumble and see if people are talking about the same thing. I'd be happy to join up with Viva if he wants to work with me. He's good people. I'm a fan of Viva. He's smart. I'm smart. Come on, Michael. I'm smart. they'd like you to invite him to join you to. I'm just an agnostic messenger. I couldn't remember who asked for it. Your chat asked, not Viva asked. Oh, well, if my chat's asking, that's a long way from Viva having any sort of interest in that. That's a long way from that. That's a really long way from that. I have to, let me see. Is he streaming right now? Is he streaming right now? Let me see what we got there. Let's check on Viva. Let's check on Viva. Viva Las Florida. He is streaming.
Because they're old. You know, like that's what happens. You get old and your friends die. What do you want?
Yeah. I see him. I don't know. He's talking about Tucker or whatever. He's doing his thing. So he's doing his thing. But I appreciate that. Just hit him up, Joe, the audience. All right. I'm going to send. You want me to stream? If I stream snipe, he's likely to hear about it. So maybe that'll, whatchamacallit. Maybe that'll bring him over. We could talk about these caucus results.
You think somehow that suffering
off the air for more than 24 hours, add me on the list. He's a brave man, telling the truth all along.
Oh, they're talking about.
He predicted what would.
They're talking about the journalist who was arrested in Ukraine. Is dead.
Argentinian, but American, raised in Argentina, an American citizen.
Yeah.
Detained in Ukraine, arrested. I'm not sure of what the charges were.
As you can see in the indictment,
this guy's dead.
That I posted on Twitter. All of the pages are there. You can read it for yourself.
They killed him.
Ukrainian.
I mean, they starved him to death, supposedly.
I remember the charges against me are just because of my opinion.
I remember at one point in time thinking Gonzalo Lira was lying about having been detained by the SB. I remember that.
I never thought that.
You get so cynical, you begin to impart the cynicism on the truth
about this conflict.
He's a journalist, although some people don't want to call him a journalist, as
what
if
is
the
he
fact
doing?
that you might not consider him a journalist somehow justifies him being arrested.
What is happening? Is he streaming himself? I'm streaming him, streaming him.
Arguably arrested because of his critical position, critical reporting of Ukrainian authorities and Zelensky in particular.
All right, I'm gonna leave.
I did a vlog a while back.
I don't like stream sniping, especially a friend of mine. I feel very awkward doing this. I feel like I'm just like filming him behind his back, and it just feels like this just feels gross. I can't do this. I can't do it. Love you, Viva, but I can't do that. Wait, what's he saying?
The show. I was going to do an interview with Gonzalo, and we were in discussion. We're not in discussion. We were.
I don't know what's happening here. I don't know. He's not really talking about the caucus anyway. If you want to find out about Gonzalo Lira, I recommend you check out Viva. He's a smart man, good person. But yeah, I'm not sniping. I can't. I feel so. You don't understand. It feels so dirty. It feels dirty. It feels like I'm just like looking through his like underwear drawer. Like I'm like just, this is not for me to do. It's not me. I feel like it just feels wrong. Anyway, so with that, let me get on to let me get on to back to the goings on in Iowa. Let's see where we're at here. More votes. See, how is this happening? This feels like 2020 all over again. I don't even understand this. This is so frustrating. Look at this. Before it was 38% of votes in. Now we're back to 33%. And I get that more votes come in, but don't they project how many votes are going to be coming in? It's the weirdest thing in the world. And how do they know that if they know that they have so many more votes out there, then how do they not know what those votes are saying? How does this happen? We were literally at 39% the first time I showed this. Then it went to 38%. Now we're at 33%. Bottom line is Trump is still holding strong with 51% now. It makes me feel like the whole number of percent of votes in just sounds totally bogus. Like by the time they're done, by the time they're done, like the winner's going to have like 4 million votes. And this total here is just completely empty. It's very frustrating. Very, very, I don't know what the hell's happening here. Anyway, I'm going to check up on that later. But I'm going to share with you this. Here are some of my thoughts about this. To me, Iowa, let me just break down here. Let's assume that the numbers finish around these sort of percentages. Okay, let's assume that this is basically, now it's 74%. Seriously? We went from 35 to 74? Bam! 35 to 74. New York Times. There you go. There you go. I don't know what the heck is happening. This is just insanity. All right. So I'll tell you, let's assume that the numbers. Let's assume the numbers finish close enough to here that that this is a significant reflection. This is a significantly accurate reflection of the totals. So I do think that this Iowa was a potential stumbling block for Trump. If he came out of the gate in Iowa sluggish, and by sluggish, I mean winning but getting only 40%. If he came out of Iowa getting only 40%, that could have been really disastrous for him. Because people would have said, you see, all the polls are wrong, all the projections are wrong, they're not accurately reflecting anything. And that has the ability to sort of just start snowballing in the next primary, next caucus. I think we're on to New Hampshire next. It has the ability, it has a snowball type of effect. In these early, him actually taking 50%, which is just dominance for someone who's not an incumbent. That's not the way these things tend to work. That out of the gate, you start with 50%. That's practically unprecedented. It's practically unprecedented for someone to come out in Iowa in the first caucus and you're not an incumbent and you take more than 50% of the vote. That's unprecedented. So if we look at it in 20, I'm going to check out in 2016. Let me pull up what was the results. Let me pull up results 2016. Results GOP. I'm curious what the numbers were. Yeah, okay, this is what you would expect. Ted Cruz won Iowa. Trump was right behind. But this was the results in 2016. 27, 24, 23, 9. That's what you see. You don't see someone taking 50% in this early in the primary season, because that starts happening when someone's support starts galvanizing. But in this stage, when you have this open field, it doesn't happen in Iowa. That's not what happens here. That's why these numbers that we see here from 2016 are far more typical type of numbers, where it's like, okay, we're trying to figure out who the top candidates are, and they start beating up on each other, and some get weeded out. But Jeb Bush finishing at 2.8. Poor Jeb. Poor Jeb. The point being that when we look at the results currently going on, 51.4% with 77% of the votes in. That is brutal. That is a smackdown. That is a redheaded stepchild behind the woodshed, which Trump is just whack, 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 whack. And considering how all the polls, the one area that the polls seem to be wrong was the over favorable projections for Nikki Haley, where they were saying that she was a solid 7, 8, 10-point lead over DeSantis. And she's trailing now. She's trailing. I would love to see her finish behind DeSantis. I want her political career to just. So, this is a nice thing to see. A very, very nice thing to see. Very pleased. I'm going to keep checking up on this later, but for now, I wanted to get to. We'll come back to this, and certainly before I wrap up tonight. I'm going to come back to this, but I want to get into Saint Fani. I think it's important for us to talk about Saint Fani. So recently she went to church. In case you're unaware of who Fani is, Fani Willis is a district attorney from the state of Georgia. One of the primary cases that she's handling is where she's indicted President Donald Trump on RICO charges. So she sort of found national spotlight. You might have heard the story. Well, anyhow, recently, Fani has gone to church. And I started watching this and I was like, wow, this is delicious. This is so delicious. This is so, you just have to see it for yourselves. You have to see it for yourselves. Let's do this.
She can tell me,
Whoops.
I don't agree with it.
They gave her a platform. And she basically threw on gobs of makeup, so much so that she looks like she's wearing a filter. Like it's like she's like wearing a filter. Look at that. Look at her skin. This is like clown makeup. And she got a chance to speak to a captive audience. A receptive captive audience, but a captive audience, meaning it's sort of awkward to walk out in the middle of someone speaking when you, I guess, particularly when you're sitting in a church, I would imagine.
I hope for y'all this week, I don't look like what I've been through.
Is this a thing that whoever gets up in front of a church crowd sounds like they think they're a preacher, even if they're not? Do politicians do the same thing when they speak in front of a church?
I want y'all to know I pulled out my most lavish $29.99 dress from Ross.
I'm one of you. I got my dress is $29.99.
And here I stand to talk to you this morning. See, that part's funny. That's not God. Now, I must warn you, if you are looking today, this morning, to hear from a perfect person, well, he was crucified and he died for your sins.
There you go. Here you go. Play to your audience. I'm a flawed woman. I'm a sinner.
But today, what he has brought you is his very flawed, hard-headed, and imperfect servant. And so I pray for him to please use me this morning. Some people are in this place to hear the word of God. Others are here for other reasons, but my God got a way of making sure no matter why you came, you leave with his message.
She's giving you God's message. That's what she's here to do. She's here to give you God's message. Like a prophet. Prophet Fani Willis. Go on, Fani. Go on, sister.
So the theme being celebrated today is, it starts with me. I want somebody to repeat.
Let's spend all night talking about me. Sorry, probably all morning. Let's spend all morning talking about me.
It starts with me. Shifting the cultural climate through the study and practice of Dr. King's nonviolent philosophy. So I'm gonna start here. When I research.
Okay, this is pretty funny. That's pretty funny. That's pretty well done, Debbie. Little hat tip for you. That was good. The
history of this monumental church. Two words just jumped off the page at me.
All right.
Were this church is built on faith and resilience. That's it. The hard-headed, flawed, imperfect servant before you is built and is being constantly chiseled on faith and resilience.
I am Mistress Faith and Resilience. That's me.
I smiled when I read the description. I knew God was telling me, I'm sending you where you need to be. I was invited here to give you a message, but yet my God does what he always does. He brought a message to me.
Here we go.
He knew this child needed reminding. So I want to talk to you today about what it's required to be a soldier in this warfare. And that's what it is. Warfare to shift the cultural climate. I must reveal to you a secret, though.
Warfare to shift the cultural climate? What the hell does that even mean? Is this a whole climate change you're saying?
Oh, wait for it. They want to know. The journey is ugly. The journey is painful. The journey is full of pitfalls. But if you are one of his children, you must answer the purpose. You must answer the call. Y'all don't hear me. You must answer the mandate.
She's on. This is a religious persecution of Trump. This is not just your ordinary run-of-the-mill persecution of Trump. This is a religious persecution that God called upon her to strike down the evil Donald Trump.
The question becomes, are you qualified?
That's what she's looking for. She's looking for you, Jason. Here we go. Let's go for our religious persecution of Donald Trump. God called upon her to go after Donald Trump in this cultural warfare, because that's what it is. And the journey is hard and the struggle is hard.
And it really comes down to this. How much are you personally willing to sacrifice for the greater good and his purpose?
This is a personal sacrifice. Becoming district attorney for the purpose of going after Donald Trump. That's a personal sacrifice on her part. She's so giving. That's your classic sermon right there.
How much? I want you to really sit and think about that question. How much are you willing to sacrifice for God's purpose?
How much you willing to donate to
I
me?
must confess to you,
I can't pay.
as a little girl, I really did not think that Dr. Martin Luther King's dream would still be just a work in progress. I thought by 2024, as a
It's still a work in progress? Really? Really?
52-year-old woman, that certainly us humans would have gotten it together. That the cultural shift would have already taken place.
What the heck are you talking
I
about?
thought by now, well, we would all just be getting along. Boy, was I wrong.
How so? How?
Now,
Tell us,
right
sister.
now, as much as any time in history,
Anytime in
we need a
history.
cultural shift.
A lot of you might have thought that, in 1860, we needed a cultural shift. Some of you might have thought that in the 1960s, we needed a cultural shift. Now, as much as any time in history, we're desperate for a cultural shift. Listen to this crackpot.
As Americans have normalized, some of y'all say that with me. Americans have normalized.
Look at this. Look at this. Say it with me. Say it with me. Parrot it back to me.
Normalized cruelty. They've normalized bigotry.
What are you talking
They've normalized
about?
hate.
What are you talking about? Who?
Many of our youth and adults have no respect for authority.
What? That's what this is about? Somehow cultural shift is a lack of respect. What? What?
See, they criticize me for who my earthly father is and my heavenly one.
Who the heck criticized you for being Christian? I want to meet the person who criticized you for being Christian. Seriously. Who's the one? I want to meet that person. At least not from the right side of the aisle. Maybe from the left side of the aisle. I don't know. Yeah. Great point, Wesley. It is funny.
Let me tell you about this earthly daddy of mine.
Here we go.
See, my father is one of the few Americans living who was actually able to meet and spend time with Dr. Martin Luther King.
Oh, here we go. I get to invoke Dr. King. I get to invoke Dr. King.
He's an older man now. Don't tell him I said it, y'all. And he's told me often.
Why would there be a church and state problem? Why would there be a church and state problem just because she's going to a church to raise money for her campaign funds? I don't know.
You look around, and on every corner they have Dr. Martin Luther King's picture. And anywhere you go, they are celebrating Dr. King. He said, well, that's not how it was when he was here.
I assume she's talking about her father, not her baby daddy. That's why sorry. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I just think it's really funny. I just think it's really funny that like she's doing this right after it comes out that she was almost definitely romantically entangled with a married man who filed for divorce the day after. This righteous servant of God is basically induced a man by giving him a contract with the state of Georgia to leave his wife. I guess that's part of her imperfections.
This morning, he tells me, you see, when Dr. King was here, I've seen him very hurt. My father's revealed to me he's seen him in moments where.
And this is an intentional thing. It's a constant invocation of Dr. King. Well, I'm not going to bash Martin Luther King. I think that he's been a little bit over-sainted, where people sort of gloss over stuff. But I think that when we look back in the arc of his life, I think he actually stood for some ideals which many of which I embrace today. As far as like equal opportunity for and recognizing the humanity and judging man by the character of his character rather than the color of his skin, all the stuff that he was striving for and was famous for striving for, all admirable. These are all great things. I think that today we see people invoke Dr. King in order to sort of draw the positive associations with him as if they are now the new Dr. Martin Luther King, which is just gross. It's a way of actually tarnishing his memory.
Dr. King was saddened. He was saddened because people were cruel to him, unsupportive. Even some people he thought were naturally in his kin. He told me that there were those that were jealous. And he really took a lot of abuse.
So now she's the new Dr. King, essentially. That's what she's trying to imply here.
He says Dr. King was a great man. A prophet, he calls him. He said he was filled with good and kindness, and the only thing he wanted to do was make the world a more equitable place. He said Dr. King was not a perfect man.
See? She's doing everything she can to link their minds that she's like the modern day Martin Luther King.
But he was a great man, willing to answer God's call.
Just like Fani.
You all, this week at one point, because they told me I could be honest with y'all, I became so in need of my source. I stopped. And to tap in, I penned a letter to my Heavenly Father.
Oh, here we go. Let me be honest with you. This is something that I'm opening up. I'm exposing myself here by telling you that I wrote a letter to God. I'm really I'm opening up to you by claiming that actually really happened.
I desperately needed to tap in to that one source. That's it. See, God knows my heart, my joys, my pains, my sins, my flaws. I am one of his hard-headed children, so he must get me together often. I'm telling the truth.
I'm so humble. I'm so humble. I'm so humble when I'm making myself like, aren't I adorably humble?
Morning. But see, in my life, I have experienced things that have taught me Jesus is the only source I can only rely on every time and all the time. I wondered if it was okay with you to share this letter I wrote this
Is that
week
okay with
to
you?
my God.
Is it okay with you? I open up and share the
But you
letter
are warm.
that
It ain't
I really
pretty,
definitely
is it?
really wrote? Is it okay if I share with you this letter that I very, very definitely really wrote? This letter?
And me and my God, we talk like regular folks. Dear Father in heaven, 4 years ago, you sent a godly woman to see me. She was different from me in so many ways. She was married to a wonderful man in law enforcement.
And I took her husband.
While I was out here real single, y'all. She was a mother. She was not yet a mother at the time, and I was raising two 20-year-olds, and I did say still raising. She was a different race than mine, and she was a Republican while I was a Democrat. Our commonality was we were both God-fearing women.
Very,
But
very.
I must admit, God, she's much further in her journey than me with Christ.
Give me an amen.
She
Give me an amen.
explained to me, God, that you had spoken to her and told her to seek me out, and so she did. She said you had seen my heart, and you, Father, knew how I loved this county and my community.
Some prophet came, some white woman prophet, Republican prophet, came to her and said, God told me that you, Fani, have a mission. I'm here to share with you that you have been called upon by God for a mission. Wow.
She provided me with the Bible and encouraged me to commit to reading it often.
Because I didn't have a Bible. We were both godly women, but I needed her to give me a Bible.
She said you revealed to her that if I had promised to work hard, follow you, root out corruption at every level, you would give me the position of leadership I sought.
This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. She's claiming that some prophet, some woman, some female prophet came to her and gave her this godly mission to root out corruption. It is pure evil. It really is. Thou shalt not be as the hypocrites are, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and the corners of the streets, that they may seem seen of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward. This is just astonishing. Such hubris. And it's hubris that's portrayed as humility. That's the amazing thing.
I had no idea what her words meant. But in this beautiful lady, I saw Christ. So I knew I was just going to obey. I don't think either of us at the time had an idea what I would inherit or gain as I became the DA. Lord, even right now.
Pause for the little almost crying.
I continue to feel unworthy of y'all.
Viva!
A divorced single mom who doesn't belong.
Did he really raid me? That would be so nice of him if he did. He's trying to reach me? Let me see. I don't know what's happening here. Viva's trying to reach me. What is he like? Did he lose my number? Let me see. Did he text me? Viva, did you text me? I don't see a text from him. Someone sent me a text. What the heck is that? I don't know what that is. No, I'm not seeing any Viva trying to reach me. I'm looking over on X. Not so much. Not so much. Viva knows where to find me. He's a smart man. He has a lot of ways to contact me. Everyone knows I'm always at Viva's disposal. I'm his servant. I'm like Fani, servant to the prophet.
Going to the right social groups doesn't necessarily come from the right family, doesn't have the right pedigree. The assignment was just too high for lowly me.
Lowly me.
All I brought to the table, God, is my mind, my heart, my work ethic, my undying love for people in the community. Lord, you know my history.
And my boyfriend. Emily Kim is prosecuted by the government. She helps the government prosecute people. Otherwise, they're exactly the same. How sad she assumes her audience is that ignorant. I'm not going to kid you. They sound kind of ignorant. Not unbelievable at all. 70% of Pentecostals and a lot of the AME church and Southern Baptists believe this is the kind of unbiblical behavior. I think it's so gross. It's such a perversion of religion. Someone told him to join you. He just ended the stream. He said he'd like to pop in for a few. I will send him a link. Okay. Oh, yeah. He just asked me for a link. Of course I'll send you a link, my brother. I'll happily send you a link. Now with Viva Fry. He did just ask me for it. Oops, that's not it. That's not a link. Invite. There he is. I told you he knows how to reach me. Am I going to be embarrassed that like I'm covering Fani in church when I said I'm going to be covering Trump and the Iowa caucus? This isn't hubris; it's calculated, and the naive idiots want to believe there's a special place to cook for us all. Days are coming. Yeah. When he pops in here, I'll get back to talking about the caucus.
I'm still carrying.
I did send him a link. He asked for one.
I struggled the entire time I raised my children. You remember when he left and it was just me and these two little girls figuring out how to get it done? God did not seem to care about my laundry list of shortcomings. He was not interested in my fear. So I obeyed.
Trump is on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Ooh, I should probably share that. I should probably pause this. We're going to pause this. I'm going to assume that this is accurate. We'll come back to this. She'll still be here later. Here, amen. And definitely true. All right, let me pull up rights. Let me go over to Rumble and pull that up.
Whether it's Republican or Democrat or liberal or conservative, it would be so nice if we could come together and straighten out the world and straighten out the problems and straighten out all of the death and destruction that we're witnessing. That's practically never been like this. It's just so important, and I want to make that a very big part.
89% reporting, 51% for Trump.
It's going to happen soon, too. It's going to happen soon. I want to thank some of the great people. We have so many senators. If I go through every name, we'll be here all night, and everybody's going to get angry at me. But the senators, the congressmen from Washington, they came down from all different states. I want to thank you very much. I want to congratulate Ron and Nikki for having a good time together. We're all having a good time together. And
He's such
I
a
think
great
they both
troll.
actually did very well. I really do. I think they both did very well. We don't even know what the outcome of second place is. And I see Carrie Lake. Congratulations, Carrie. Very good. I spotted her, I have to announce, because she's terrific. She's going to be a senator, a great senator, I predict, right? You're going to be a great senator. And I also want to congratulate Vivek, because he did a hell of a job. He came from 0, and he's got a big percent, probably 8%, almost 8%, and that's an amazing job. They all did. They're all very smart people, very capable people. I think most importantly, I want to thank my incredible wife, First Lady, I'll say former and maybe future. But more important than Melania, I want to thank her incredible, beautiful mother who passed away a few days ago. And she's up there, way up there. She's looking down, and she's so proud of us. And I just want to say to Amalia, you are special, one of the most special people I've ever known. And that was a tough period of time for the family, but she's amazing. She was amazing. So I just want to thank what she's done for our family, and her husband, who's home right now and very lonely. He's a lonely man, but he's going to be okay. Victor, they're great people, great parents to all of us, really. Great parents, but also to Barron. Boy, did she take care of Barron. That's how he got so tall. He only ate her food. And I want to thank my family generally.
Being magnanimous
worked so
the last
hard,
4 months,
and they've taken so much abuse for being good people. I mean, good people. But Eric and Don, they really did. These two have been working so hard, and they, they have another job also, so they have to do it all. But they've been working so hard, and I know that Ivanka is home and Tiffany's home. They're watching, and I know that Barron's watching. Good old Barron. I said, you're going to be a basketball player. I said, well, I like soccer, Dad, actually. I said, at your height, I like basketball better, but sometimes you can't talk them into everything. But he's a special boy. But the whole family is just incredible. And my sister, Elizabeth, who's just the biggest fan. She's just an incredible person and always supportive. We love Elizabeth so much. Also, we have a woman who took a big chance. In most states, we have support of everybody, the Congress, the senators. We had Marco Rubio. We had Rick Scott the other day. We have, probably 55% of the senators. And now they're all calling and saying, we want to endorse you, sir. I said, oh, great. Same thing with the Congress, men and women. We have tremendous, much more than anybody probably has ever had in this position. And we love them all. They're great. They're really trying to do a good job for our country. But one woman in Iowa who really stepped up was your Attorney General, Brenna Byrd. She really stepped up. Where is Brenna? Come here.
Thank you. Glad to do it. We need you.
She stepped up. She's going to be your governor someday, I predict. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll be watching, but she really did. She broke away from the pack, and she had tremendous courage, and wasn't easy. In some states it's easy. In other states it's a little bit more difficult. But we have really the support of the people of Iowa, which has been just incredible. Another man who was actually the first person to endorse me in the entire country. He's a state senator. His name is Brad Zahn. He looks like he's the most handsome guy, I think. Oh, you made it. He had to drive from his caucus location. You made it. I call him the Marlboro Man.
Amazing. I want to see him take 40 states.
You want to say something? Come on, go up. Say something.
Well, I'll tell you, I had to actually do a TV interview bragging about you. The reason why I was late is because of that. But is he awesome or what? I am honored to be the first person in the United States to endorse this guy. The next president, the 47th president of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Amen.
And when he says endorsed, we're really talking about 2015. He endorsed me before, actually, long before I knew I was going to run. I said, who's this man in Iowa? He's a senator, a state senator. He's a good-looking guy, too. Doesn't he look? You could pay him and give him a lot of money. And by the way, Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you for being here.
So
You
funny.
are so great. Comes all the way from Missouri, which isn't that far. You can't drive an electric car that far, though. Thank you very much. I appreciate it very much. The group of people that we have on the stage is just emblematic of the tremendous group that we've had. We've had such a great team. We did well. We were looking really good in 2016. And just to go back to the senator, he was saying, I said, who is that guy? Brad, his name. Who is he? He keeps endorsing me. He keeps saying Trump, and I didn't even know I was running. He endorsed me 4 months before I knew I was running, about 4 months before the Escalade ride down with our great First Lady. And that was Brad. I said, who is he? So he was the first one. But we have people that are so incredible. Your Republican Party Chairman, Bobby Kaufman, and his son, who is a brilliant guy, and he worked with us. And I will tell you, that is a family of real professionals. Matt Whitaker, who is the very talented and very good Attorney General. Where is Matt? He's around here someplace, and he's been with us all the way. We have a man that was very impressive. And I say, there's nothing wrong with it. He's so solid and so good that he didn't catch on. Sometimes being a little controversial is good. He's so perfect. Although he did break his leg during the campaign. That wasn't so good. But it sort of stood out a little bit, Doug. But Doug Burgum from North Dakota, the governor, and his beautiful wife, Catherine, and he got out of the race. What people don't know is that he actually supported me on the other side twice already, right? Then he decided to do it. And he was outstanding, but
look at who's here.
the traction is never easy, right?
The man, the
You
myth,
need
the
controversy
legend.
for traction sometimes, and this guy is the most solid guy. There's no
hi.
controversy
Hello, Joe.
He's one of the best governors in our country, and I
How are
hope
you,
I'm
brother?
going to be able to call on him to be a piece of the
How are you?
administration.
Not bad. How you doing?
Piece of the
Thank God.
administration.
Welcome.
Now, I might be here for 10
Also,
minutes, but let's hear this.
Conclude with this.
He's being very
entire-
magnanimous.
I said he was going to be. He's got to start building bridges.
Really here all the time.
He
Whenever
was,
we
he
needed
was
them.
very magnanimous to Vivek,
Whenever we needed them,
Ron, and Nikki even.
they are great.
Very
Eric and
magnanimous.
Don,
He's
and
feeling
look
he's
at all
feeling
these
confident
people,
now, I think.
Susie,
So you got Eric, you got
And
Kimberly
Chris.
Guilfoyle.
Chris,
I can't see all of these people there.
and they want no accolades.
Don is
They
on
just
his
want
left.
a victory, and they want to make
Yeah,
America
Don's
great
there.
again. That's all they want. Actually, they don't want to be speaking. They don't want to have pictures. They just want to do their job, right?
Wait for
I wanna
Team
thank you
DeSantis to
very
see
much.
how old he looks.
Daddy, you're really
Look at this.
fantastic.
I'm joking. It's time to build bridges, not burn them.
So we're going to come together.
Okay, let's hear this.
We're going to drill, baby, drill right away. Drill, baby, drill. We're going to seal up the border.
I guess Melania is in mourning for her mother, who passed away a few days
Yeah.
ago.
Because right now we have an invasion. We have an invasion of millions and millions of people that are coming into our country. I can't.
Why didn't you do anything the first time, Don? Come on.
I think it's a group of people that probably
Who's
lost
the guy next to Don Jr.?
and we can't have that.
Oh, he had him up there
It's
on
not
stage.
sustainable
He's
as
some
a
state
country. It's
senator who was the
horrible.
first one to endorse him.
And they're
Okay.
coming from prisons and jails. They're coming from all over. They're coming from countries that most
Say
people
it.
have never heard of.
They're rapists.
And they're coming from
They're not sending their best.
institutions and insane asylums. They're being emptied out into our country.
No, there's no question
And
about it.
terrorists, many terrorists are coming in. In 2019, I saw just recently on a poll, they had none in 29, no terrorists. Now, I even say there's got to be some, but they have none. And then as soon as this group took over, they have hundreds and hundreds of terrorists coming in, known terrorists, some of them really bad. And many of them are in, and they came in, and nobody knows where they are. This is not a good thing. and we're going to have to deport. We're going to have a deportation.
He's pulling Vivek talking points now. It's fantastic.
Since Dwight Eisenhower.
It's one of the best things about Vivek is he started nudging Trump in the right
I don't want to
direction.
be overly
Deport. Like
rough on the
it
president,
sounds terrible, but you have to do it.
but I have to say that he is the worst president that we've had in the history of our country.
Absolutely.
He's destroying our country. And, you know, my wife attended the funeral 2 months ago of Rosalind Carter, and it was beautiful. And Jimmy Carter was there, and I thought to myself, Jimmy Carter is happy now because he will go down as being a brilliant president by comparison to Joe Biden.
As the second worst president.
You know, he's brilliant.
He was so terrible. People forget how terrible he was.
So we have to stop the invasion. We have to bring down our energy. We have to, you know, I say all the time, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any other nation anywhere in the world. And we have to stop the crime, and we have to help rebuild our cities, and we have to rebuild the capital, Washington, D.C. I was there on one of the Biden indictment trials. You know, this is the only person this never happened before, but I go to a lot of courthouses because of Biden, because they're using that for election interference. And it's on things like election. And I don't know if you know, but they did polls tonight on the election of 2020. Do you believe it was honest or not?
Joe, what can I say here?
82% said it was not. And we
fucking fortified is what it was.
Chairman. We can't have that. You can't have a situation like that. So we're going to straighten out our elections. We're going to do a lot of good things. We're going to try and go to paper ballots as soon as possible. Voter
Amen.
ID. One day.
Yes.
Elections. You know, we have these elections that
all
last for
Vivek
62
talking
days,
points.
and if you need some more time, take as much time as you want.
A third of Americans still believe that 2020 was fraudulent.
Get rid of mail-in ballots, because once you have mail-in ballots, you have crooked elections. Actually, Jimmy Carter's commission said that a long time ago. We're going to rescue our economy. We're going to save our economy. We had the greatest economy in the history.
Until the China virus.
There was never a greater economy.
Yep.
And now we don't. And when you look at what's happened with inflation, inflation is destroying, you know, they call it a country killer. Going back
a disguised tax.
Germany, countries that had big inflation are dead.
Thank you, Monkey
They
Train.
become dead countries. We have to stop that immediately. And we want peace through strength. Russia would have never attacked Ukraine. Would have never done it. Putin and I get along fine. We get along very well. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. The fake news, which if the fake news would become real and honest news, 90% of our problems in this country would be solved. They would be solved.
Indeed.
So
that's wishing upon a star. That's never gonna
Russia
happen.
would have never attacked. Israel would have never been attacked. The Ukraine situation is so horrible. The Israeli situation is so horrible. What's happened? And we're going to get them solved. We're going to get them solved very fast. I actually said Ukraine. I know President Putin very well. I know Zelensky very well. I'm going to get them in. We're going to get it solved very quickly. Should have never happened. Would have never happened. Now you have all that death, far greater than people understand.
300,000. People don't have the slightest idea.
300,000
Ukrainians. Not even Russians as well.
In the years to come.
Wow.
When they knock down these massive buildings in Ukraine, and then you see.
I saw you covering Gonzalo Lira.
Two people were
Terrible
sadly wounded.
tragedy.
No. Many people were killed. Many people were killed. We're going to get it stopped. But it's so sad because it should have never started. People killed and a culture destroyed. You can never replace.
It's a generation.
Buildings with the most beautiful golden domes and churches and everything, just all rubble now. And it's so sad. Would have never ever happened.
He's doing
and
when he breathes thing.
He always
Israel
does
would
that.
have never been attacked. It all comes from Iran, and we would have had to deal with Iran very quickly. Had the election where we, by the way, got, and I say we because it's all we got more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country. But they say we lost by a whisker, okay? But regardless of that, we're going to do incredible things, and we're not going to let China
Does he sound tired, Joe?
With him also, President Xi is a very strong leader. And
think he's
we're going
okay.
to get things solved.
Look,
we're going to get
look,
the Ukraine
we have to
war
face
solved.
facts.
We're going to get
You
things-
know, he's
Fuck, it's 11 o'clock. I'm tired. I want to go to bed myself. I haven't been campaigning all day.
After
he's
that,
also 8 years
Iran
older
was
than when
broke.
he was elected last
I said to
time.
every
You know,
country, anybody does business with Iran, buys oil from Iran, they were broke. We're not going to let you do business in
8
the
years
United
and the
States.
presidential administration, which
And
is like,
that's the way it is.
look at what
I-
they did to Barack
They
and
did
how that
very
aged
little
him.
business, almost
I think the lawfare's aged him more than the presidency, but
penalty.
Could be.
And what happened is they had no money
It's very
to
stressful.
give to Hamas and to give to Hezbollah. And in fact, there were a lot of stories at the time. They had no money for terror. And for 4 years, we had no terror. We had the terror ban. We had the terror ban. They called it the
pretty
Trump
funny.
travel ban, but it was really the Trump terror ban. We don't want people in our country that are going to blow up our shopping centers. Thank you very much. And we want a country of law and order. So we're going to rebuild the capital of our country, Washington, D.C. We're going to scrub those beautiful marble columns and get the swastikas off them. And we're going to scrub them and get the graffiti off them. And we're going to clean the streets and we're going to rebuild the streets. And we're not going to have rusted medians through the middle that are falling down into the roads where foreign dignitaries from all
Sounds
over
like
the
he's
world
wrapping
come
up.
and they look.
Yep.
We're not going to be
Go to bed at dawn. You did good.
did just a month ago, riding on top of garbage. We're going to rebuild our beautiful Washington, D.C., and we're going to take control of it, and we're going to make
Dismantle
harsh
DC.
penalties for people that go around shooting. Last week, they shot 3 people, and every night something happens. It's so sad. And likewise, we're going to rebuild our cities, and we'll work with the Democrats to do it. I'd be glad to work with the people in
No,
New
they don't
York.
wanna
We're
work
going to
with
work
you.
with the people in Chicago and LA. We're going to rebuild our cities, and we're going to make them safe. And we're going to give our police officers immunity.
Let's see, Ginger.
So
Ninja.
every time they do something,
Ginger.
they get sued and stopped. We're going to end crime in our cities. In Iowa, you don't know what that means, but I'll tell you, this is a different place. You don't know about crime. You don't know about getting mugged and getting whacked and getting thrown into subways.
Dude, what the hell's
You
he?
just stop it.
He's got to land the plane.
Come
It's
down.
going a little dark here. Doesn't need to go
Yeah.
here.
Stop
Land the
crime
plane,
in
Don.
America.
Land the plane.
So I want to just finish by saying
Thank
that
you.
this has been an incredible experience. The people have been, this is the 3rd time we've won, but this is the biggest win.
Oh yeah, it's a record. Eh?
They said, well, if you win by
What's the record?
12%, that's a big win. That's going to be very hard.
30
I think we
flipping
more than
percent.
doubled that, I guess, tripled it maybe. They said, you'll never get over 50, and I just left and we're at 54. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with it. But
Oh, he lied. He lied. Fact check. He's only at 52.
I said, what's about the highest? Well, you could
Well, they're
get
saying
into the 40s,
92.5%.
maybe
He's
40,
at
41.
50.9 now.
And then I looked up, and, it's very interesting. I didn't know they called it early. I thought that they called it at about 10 o'clock. My impression, see this gentleman? He's dressed like a wall. I love this guy. He goes to,
Oh, brick
he's been
suit.
at 150
You know brick suit?
rallies probably.
No, hold on. Let me see that.
He has the most
I gotta
beautiful
show
outfit
him.
I've ever seen. It's all beautiful brick.
Brick suit guy.
Will you come up here? Just come up here.
Oh, okay. We're gonna see
Bring
him.
him up.
It's so nice to see. Come on up here. He's
I've
emblematic of
spoken
what we
with him
did.
on
We
Spaces,
built over
this guy.
500 miles of wall. We were going to add another.
He didn't build it. He repaired it. We got to do what the
And we
news is
had
going to do with
the
this.
safest border in the
Mm-hmm.
history of our country. Now we have the worst border in the history of the world. Look at this man. Congratulations. Really nice. Nice to see you, man. You take care of yourself, okay? Thank you. I love that outfit. I love him.
Scuff and tie to go with it.
That's great. We love it. That's a hot selling jacket, by the way. So. But that represents what we did. No, we built a tremendous, that's the reason. And we got Mexico to give us 28,000 soldiers free. And we had remain in Mexico. and
Land the
we had
plane.
Catch and release in Mexico.
Land your plane.
And we did a job. We had the safest border in our history. We had the
Well
greatest
done.
economy in our history. We were a great nation 3 years ago, and now we're a nation in decline. We are going to turn it around so fast. It's going to happen so fast. We're going to drill. We're going to
Has
make
this
great.
happened?
We have great wealth. We're going to drill. We're going to use that money to lower your taxes even further. We gave you the biggest tax cut in history,
I'll come back to that.
and we're going to lower them further. And we're also going to pay off national debt. It's about time. It's about time.
Oh, I know what they're going to say about
So
this
it's
tomorrow.
now
So
off to New Hampshire, a great place. We won it last time.
when's the New Hampshire primary?
We won it both times. And we love
Good
it. The people are great.
Let's find that
You
out.
know, the truth is the people in our country are great. They're all great. We love Iowa. They're all great. They only want to.
January 23rd. Is that
thing.
possible?
They want
Yeah, that's right.
our country to come back. They're embarrassed by what's going
It's a
on.
week
Our
from
country is
tomorrow.
laughed at all over the world. They're laughing at us, and they want our country to come back. They want America. You know, they want us to be great again. It's a very simple MAGA, make America great again. And America first. America first is a very important part of MAGA.
Finally.
So we're going to put America first. We're going to make America great again. Again, Iowa, we love you. You are going to, you just go out and buy larger tractors and more land. Don't worry about it. And to all of the people standing behind me and all of the people in this room and so many great politicians and great dignitaries and friends, I just want to thank you all. This is a very special night. And this is the first, because the big night is going to be in November when we take back our country, and truly we do make our country great again. Thank you very much, everybody. Great honor. Thank you very much.
Okay, done.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the news from a week ago. It says Haley poised to take second place. They're gonna have to revise all of that pro Haley bullshit.
Oh my God. I'm so pleased that DeSantis took second from her, because all the polls were showing her having like a 10-point lead over him. Now, maybe that's on a national level, not on Iowa. I didn't look at specifically Iowa polls, but I'm so pleased to see her stub her toe in Iowa.
I would have rather seen a much closer race between second, third, and fourth with Vivek, but Vivek still did good. It's pretty good with 7.6.
Here's the thing. You know, let's face it. Vivek's policies and his whole agenda is so neatly aligned with Donald that he's going to be in Donald's wake. So yeah, if Donald wasn't in this election, I think Vivek would have won Iowa. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think most people who vote for Donald, probably certainly not all of them. He's going to garner more support than anyone. But I think that a large part of people who believe with the America First type of principles, they're gonna lean towards Donald first and look at Vivek as the future instead of
for sure. By the way, hold on. A fuzzy creature says Trump needed to do better. I can't tell if that's a joke or not.
I don't know.
How much better could Trump have done than the biggest margin ever? I mean, Trump had more than Trump alone had more than Haley and DeSantis combined.
He had more than not just Haley and DeSantis. He had more than 50%.
I'm such a
the entire
idiot.
field. He had more than the entire field.
By the way, don't ask a lawyer to do math. He had more. If he had 51%, he had more than 2 of the 3 others combined. I'm a mathematician, but no, it's fantastic. What I'm very much encouraged about. My prediction is going to come true. Between Trump and Vivek, they have nearly 60% of the field in Iowa. He's gonna appoint Vivek. People are saying Ben Carson, and I don't think I believe it.
Oh my
God.
I think it's gonna be a woman. I think he's gonna go with a woman.
I'm abandoning identity politics. I'm going with Vivek's lawyering up to the.
I don't think Vivek would take it. I don't think Vivek. I don't think it's a good political move for him.
I think it is.
Why? Sell me on it.
Because that's the insurance against removal of Trump. That having someone replace him who's who's even more Trump than Trump, that's the insurance on the one hand. Second hand, I had Vivek on the channel, and he basically left open the door. He says, it's not about ego. I'd have Trump as my VP, and, if the people said they want me, I'd think about it. He basically left it open. And you get 4 years of learning the administration, and then he runs for president in 2028, because Trump's only got one term. It makes total sense.
I think that the reason I would say that it's politically it's a questionable move for Vivek is because and it's also a questionable move for Trump, and here's the reason it's a problem for each of them. For Vivek, that Trump is a polarizing figure. Anyone who's supporting Trump in 24, not anyone, I shouldn't say that, but a large percentage of Trump's support is likely to shift Vivek's way in 28 anyway. So what he's doing by aligning with Trump and becoming his VP is he's basically putting a target on his back for all the people who, because Trump is so polarizing, that all the people who are deranged with their animus toward Trump, that's going to be more easily aligned and swashed over. You see, here's his vice president. It's, Trump Jr. is coming in here. So I think in that sense, he's sort of almost gearing up the left to come after him and putting a target on his back. From Trump's perspective, I think he might be nervous about having someone who's as dynamic and charismatic. Yeah, that he'll take some of the spotlight away from him in having Vivek there.
But Trump might also be saying, he's 77, 78. He might need that. Someone who with fresher legs to when he's not there, like someone who's not going to embarrass him. I never understood the idea of picking Pence as his VP. He's a shadow. Like he didn't
I didn't
exist.
get that either.
Anyway, we'll see. It's one thing's for certain. I'm just looking through Twitter now. And
have you heard this, by the way? Someone brought this up earlier. And I always give like a little $20 super chat. I give him like a little chauffeur blast over there. So there you go. So he says someone needs to show Donald the employment contract for feds where it states employees face immediate end of employment when dissenting against the sitting president while on the clock. Have you heard about that? I haven't even heard about that.
Someone needs to show Donald the employment contract for feds where it states employees face immediate end of employment when dissenting against the sitting president. I've never heard of any such thing. I think we would have
such a violation of the First Amendment.
And like dissenting against them where? Like on the job, on social media?
I don't know,
man. That sounds like it probably runs afoul of
First Amendment.
First Amendment, but except there, everyone's at the employ. What's it called? Your employment is at the privy or the leisure of the president, so you can get fired for no good reason.
At will, yeah.
Who said Laura Loomer for VP? No.
No.
That's not going to happen. My only question with Laura Loomer is she going to have burnt more bridges than can be repaired after a Trump victory? Like nobody's going to forget about some of the stuff that Laura Loomer did.
She's
in person. Dude,
I'm not a fan of Laura Loomer.
She's done good stuff and she's done stuff that's sufficiently bad that it undermines the good.
Have you had her on your show yet?
No, not yet. I met her in person, and I've had my
I haven't asked you about that. You went to Mar-a-Lago.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah, that was good. Hey, Mar-a-Lago's definitely worth $14 million. Hey, there was a little piece of grass in the back that I'm pretty sure was worth $18 million. It's not surreal. It's just mind blowing. You get that building, the building itself, the property, raise it to the ground is amazing. The building is amazing. The detail, like the structure, the roofing, like we have to redo our windows here, and I know what it costs. You redo the windows of Mar-a-Lago, that's $20 million. So it's the place was beautiful. The gala hall was amazing. Meeting all of those people was fantastic. And
I was so pleased for you. Judge Engeron is insane. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous how tilted he was on.
He's guy's unhinged and deranged.
He's going to hit him for $300 million. He's going to hit him for $300 million.
Well, it's going to get overturned on appeal. Everything that judge has done is an egregious shock to the conscience, except for the fact that the New York Court of Appeals upheld the gag order. So it's like you're not going to get justice from there. I don't know where you go from after that. Mm-hmm. See, Laura Loomer looks like she lives in a gingerbread house and eats children. No way, Trump. No. So they'll distance themselves from Laura. Like I think politics is so ugly that the campaign will distance themselves from Laura when she's no longer a useful pit bull, because at some point she's going to be doing more damage than good. I think, and she'll hopefully have to figure that out sooner than later.
Oh, this is what you were reading there. Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's going to go with Lake. Unless, he's not going to go with Lake. This is because he's going to want to take someone who's a winner.
Well,
and as much as we we might believe that she beat Katie Hobbs, at the end of the day, there's just a stain there in the sense that she didn't end up getting the seat.
I don't know. Well, the obvious choice is Ben Carson. That's Barnes's pick. The other obvious, like if we're thinking Byron Donaldson. What's his last name?
Byron Donalds.
I love him. I met him in Milwaukee. Dude's good through and through.
Oh, he's great. I'm a huge fan of Byron.
He's amazing. And he's young. He's invigorating. But I've already made my unlikely prediction. It's going to be Vivek or Tulsi Gabbard. It's not going to be Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah. I don't know.
Dude, but what else? I'm gonna stick around for 5 more minutes, but I want Joe. What's been going on in life, man? I haven't seen you in a while.
I know. I'll tell you this much. I'm gonna formally publicly invite you on January 31st. I'm having a 24-hour stream. It's like
24.
so.
Why would you do such a thing?
Why would I do such a thing? Why would I do such a thing? Well,
January 31st. What day of the week is that?
I don't even know.
Hold on 1 second. That's in 2 weeks. Are you out of your mind? That's a Wednesday. So you're gonna ruin the entire. Okay, what are you doing a 24-hour stream for?
So my daughter is engaged.
Mm-hmm.
She got engaged, and she's getting married in late February. So I did this for my son. Like I put a 24-hour stream, like basically raising money for a wedding, and I feel like I owe it to my daughter to do it for her as well.
I'm gonna ask the crass question. What did you raise for your son when you did the 24-hour stream? $8,000?
Yes. How'd you know that?
I just took an absolute wild
guess. That was crazy. How did you do that? That was really insane.
Because I was going to say like 15, but that would have been too much. 5 would have been a little insulting.
That was really crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's 8,000 US. That's like 20,000 Canadian. I'm joking. It's not 20,000.
No one deals with monopoly money.
Hold on. Let me see. I got something somewhere around here. Yeah, that's a good idea. How old's your daughter?
My daughter is 20. She's 22 now.
That's because you're an old man. You're 50. You're 55 years old.
Yeah, you're a schmuck. Okay,
no, dude.
I'm 53.
Okay, fine. 50.
Okay.
How do you have a 22-year-old? When I'm 53, my daughter's gonna be.
What?
Oh,
she's my third kid.
No, dude, my daughter's gonna be 22 by the time I'm 53. Look at my big fucking mouth. 8 years. Yeah, she's gonna be 22. All right, shut my big face.
Wow.
Joe, I hope
you should be selling NFT tokens with the way you do math. Well, it's like you could just give projections that'll just be like through the roof. Oh, you're going to be making like 700%. It's going to go up like half a penny, and you'll make.
Who said Vivek dropped out? Vivek didn't drop out. Hold on a second. Did he? Fox.
That's it. Really?
There's no way he dropped out.
I
would have gotten a text if he had dropped out. Governor DeSantis will finish ahead of Haley. Oh, that's that. I love how they.
Eric is claiming that Vivek is dropping out.
He's not. If he drops out, it's only to be appointed VP. I'll see. I got my insiders. Let me just see here.
Yeah, I got. Oh my
God. I got nothing. So January 31st, dude, you're doing a 24-hour stream.
Yeah. So you can pick any time during that 24 hours.
Okay.
Anytime during that 24 hours. I'll send you. That
during
works
the daytime, and I'll be
Yeah.
fishing. You can come fishing with me while you're suffering
That'd be awesome.
away. Okay. Done.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, fine.
Dude, congratulations. When is your daughter getting married?
February 25th.
February.
So the reason I do it at the end of the month, the last time my son got married in early September. So I basically take my last day of earnings for YouTube and put in 24 hours. So that's why I came up with January 31st. So I'm probably gonna knock myself out for a day or so, but I'll rebound fine. So
I'm looking at the bitter result. Jenna Ellis on Twitter just said biggest winner of the night, Robert Kennedy Jr. Oh, they're all so funny. Let me see here. I just got to see who's bitching.
She's another friend of yours.
I will defend her to the grave because she's where she deserves to be defended.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a bunch of whiny DeSantis supporters who are going to find every reason under the sun to complain about this.
Yeah, there was one DeSimp. Who was his name that I quote tweeted? I'm trying to remember.
Cardillo?
Where was it?
You got Cardillo, Deese, Hart,
I'll
Chamberlain.
Find it.
Then we got Reese here. This is a random account. Let me just see here. Yeah, it's got Team DeSantis in the thing. It says, "I will never vote for Trump. Goodbye. Y'all will be angry and pathetic on your own. You will have no other gods before me. You deserve what you will get if Trump is the nominee. I am not the only one. Goodbye." Like, okay, this is not an airport. Your announcement, departure, need not be broadcast.
I don't know why do people do that?
I know, it's like, and this was like, well, it's totally acceptable to leave the party. It's like, good, leave the party.
Goodbye.
Don't be a little fucking baby. Like, oh, I'm leaving because I didn't get my way. Goodbye. If you're not into democracy, then leave. Nobody wants you.
Yeah.
It's
funny. It's funny that he talks about. I mean, it's interesting how he's able to talk about how this lawfare is election interference. But let's face it. At the end of the day, these prosecutions have only Yeah, they've been
The
phenomenal.
only question, Joe, if you want to go like 3D level persecution, does the deep state want Trump in? And this is the way they know that they're going to get him in, because Trump has always been deep state. I'm not saying that in any serious way, so nobody misquotes me.
A lot of people are saying this, by the way, that he suspended his campaign.
Yeah, it's weird, but I let me just ask somebody. I'm gonna put it on mute here. Give me 1 second.
Now we got Vivek. I'm gonna put it in suspend. I actually thought he did better than. Wow, Fox News is saying he's out. Look at this.
I got my sources. I'll believe it when I get a response from my source.
Dude, Fox News, Vivek Ramaswamy ends presidential bid following our caucuses. Wow.
I fucking trust Fox News as much as I can. Vivek wins Arizona. No, sorry. Which ones are they called? We'll see about that. I'll trust me. By the way, if I confirm it's true, it's true. I got sources. We'll see.
You got sources?
Let me just see if they're coming back to me.
You got
Little
sources.
bastards they don't respond to me within 1 minute. What the hell is going on here?
Seriously, your sources. You need to like smack them around a little bit, get them in line.
Sauce, please. What was I just looking at here? This Jack Posobiec says a lot of people deleting anti-Trump tweets right now. Big names, big hosts. Let me save you some time. I have them all archived. Gotta love Poso.
He's great. I'm a big Poso fan. Yeah, so it does seem like Vivek is done, which is unfortunate.
No, I mean it depends what he does with his time now. Dude he said he spent he's 25 to 30 million of his own bucks. Fuck, man. Although he's worth nearly $1 billion, so that's like a cup of coffee.
Yeah, he's not going to notice that.
Let me see if there's nothing on Vivek's timeline that indicates anything. And he did good tonight. I don't think he did bad. 50 minutes ago, he says, "So proud of our team." Press conference at 10:15 Central Time. That's Central.
That's now,
dude. That's the Sturdy Hotel.
Let me see if he. Oh, here it is.
Oh yeah, I got something here. It seems live. I salute you decision to endorse. Oh, I salute your decision to endorse Trump, and I salute your undeniable skills.
I'm going.
USA.
I went back to the beginning.
USA.
10 minutes ago, someone says it's time to drop out and endorse Trump. I don't know that he did that.
I want to first.
Joe, I'm gonna go. I gotta go walk the dog and go to bed.
Okay. All right.
But,
thank you, brother. I appreciate you stopping by here.
No, my pleasure. I would have been here earlier, but I didn't see the calls until later in my stream. But
that's okay. That's okay.
Dude, you're looking good, and you're looking like you're having fun. Life is good.
I am. Thank God. Really, really good. Yeah.
Touch wood.
And you too, my friend. You too.
My ass hurts. My back hurts. You know, the kids are back in school.
I saw that little video of you doing your little ice water dipping. You're shredded.
I shouldn't have. Well, first of all, I shouldn't have done that because I immediately got a massive sinus infection. I was like, I knew I was coming down with it. I was like, oh, I'll do that. It'll boost my immune. Fucking killed me. I was done for the holidays.
How many hours a day do you work out? Like how many hours a week do you spend working out?
I don't really do much. I jog like 30 miles a week, and I do my push-ups and curls. So I didn't exercise today, and I feel fat and lazy. So
I'm
tomorrow
sure.
I'll have to go.
Fat. You're an embarrassment. You're an embarrassment. Get out of here. It's an embarrassing. You're a
woe
blob.
is me.
You're
Joe,
a blob. Take care, brother.
Let me know. I'll come in on the 31st.
I'm looking forward. See you then.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Thank you, brother, for stopping by.
Peace out, peace.
All right. The famous Vivek Fry, my good buddy. Awesome guy. All right, so I want to watch this announcement from Vivek because I think this is significant, and we need to see that. Let me cover some of these chats here that popped in. Vivek is suffering from Republicans screaming Vivek is Soros shill and WEFA line. Maybe, but we'll. I don't think we've heard the end of him. I really hope not. How much of the pro-Trump is because he's being persecuted versus his principles and plans? I think at least a quarter, if not significantly more. Maybe I wouldn't be surprised if it's more than a third. I wouldn't say half, but at least a quarter of his support, I would say, is coming because of these. A lot of people. It's like we don't care really even so much about his platform. It's a matter of we're standing up for him because we have to. Like that guy asked him. I'm a huge Ben Carson as a person fan, but that'd be disastrous. Per Joe Biden, other racist leftists, he ain't black. Yeah, I'm not a huge Ben Carson fan. I don't have a problem with him. It's It's a weird thing the way I'm going to phrase this now. To me, Ben Carson is very vanilla. I said it. He's very vanilla. Out of anyone you could choose, he's like the most vanilla person in the world. And I don't know how to explain it. He's just like he's so boring to me. He's so boring. I know it because I signed the contract. This is going back to your statement about federal contract restricting you from being able to dissent. Feds do not have First Amendment while on the clock against the government. It's similar to my military contract. So on the clock, that's different. That's a little different when you're on the clock, because you're on the clock the same way. I have less of a problem with that. And the reason I have less of a problem with that is because I'm a big believer that when it came to when what's his face, Kaepernick was on the clock, that he can't just make his political statements when he's on the clock. So I have less of an issue with that. Much less of an issue. So yeah, it's when you're off the clock. That's when it's like, that would be totally wrong. DeSantis said 2020 was legit and that Trump was whining. But the minute he loses Iowa to Trump, it's suddenly election interference. Give me a break. Great call, Malcolm. Great call indeed. Fuzzy Creature says Joe is Viva's next Rumble +1. Yeah, I'm happy to join him whenever he wants. Vivek on Twitter right now is suspending his campaign. Yeah, we got that. VP will be Carson Zeldin. No, it does look like he's dropping out. And I thank you for that. I'll give you a little chauffeur and share that with Ellie. Also here for the wedding funds. I appreciate that. Thank you, Ellie. And good Lord, you two he gave a damn speech, suspended and endorsed Donald J. Trump. All right, so we're going to hear it.
Their tails off for the last year and the last month here in Iowa. All of you volunteers, you have lifted us up from February of last year when we got into this. Nobody knew who we were. Nobody knew what we were up to. And together we have created a movement that I think is going to carry our nation to the next level. And for that, all of the patriots across this state, across this country, everybody watching on the live stream, we are so grateful to you. And I promise you this, we are just...
Grabby saying Vivek in 2028. As for you, Krabby.
Campaign founded on speaking the truth. Not just when it's easy, but when it's hard. Not just to the Democrats.
Yes, is Vivek in an advisory position? I'm totally fine with that.
To other campaigns and candidacies, but ours. And so I will stick to the truth tonight.
Peasy says 300,000.
The first hard truth, and this one's
I'll come back to that
hard for me. I got to admit this. But we've looked at it every which way, and I think it is true that we did not achieve the surprise that we wanted to deliver tonight. And I think that that's just a hard fact that we're going to have to accept as a campaign.
I'll tell you, I thought he did fairly well. I really did. I think he did fairly well. 8% is not easy to get.
And the question then is, what do we do that is right for our country? And so Porv and I, we actually didn't make this contingency plan before everybody told us to. We said, no, we're not doing that. But we talked about it tonight. We took a little bit of time in our apartment in Des Moines before coming here to make some hard choices. And I wanted to make a couple of announcements tonight.
I agree with this. I think his spotlight's too big.
And then I want to tell you where we're going. As of this moment, we are going to suspend this presidential campaign. And this is going to have to be, there's no path for me to be the next president absent things that we don't want to see happen in this country. And I think that I am very worried for our country.
I think here he's saying absent something horrific happening to Donald Trump's physical well-being. That's what I'm taking from what he means there when he says absent some things we don't want to see in this country. Because I think he feels like, if God forbid something happened to Donald, he would have a path. But with Donald being in good health, and God hope that he retains that great health for many, many years. But that he's basically saying that, if Trump is there, there's no path for him. And that's true.
I think we are skating on thin ice as a nation. We have done everything in our part to make, and done, every one of us in this room has done our part to save this country. And I am so proud of every one of you who have lifted us up but we're a campaign founded on the truth. And so that's why we've made that decision today. And I'm also making the decision that this has to be an America First candidate in that White House. As I've said since the beginning, there are 2 America First candidates in this race. And earlier tonight, I called Donald Trump to tell him that I congratulate him on his victory. And now going forward, he will have my full endorsement for the presidency. And I think we're going to do the right thing for this country. And so I'm going to ask you to follow me in taking our America First movement to the next level. It did not begin in 2016. It began in 1776. And for the next journey of this race,
I'm going to talk to you after I finish this. After I finish his announcement here, I'm going to talk with you about the significance of this, because I do think this is significant.
That our movement is actually the one that actually leads and saves this country in the next step. And as for this movement, founded on truth, America First 2.0, we're just getting started. That doesn't end today. That begins today, actually. So we're just getting warmed up.
That's his way of saying, look for me in
We're
28.
not going anywhere. We are in this for the future of our country. We've lived the phase of our life. This country has allowed us to live an American dream that my parents, who were here with us earlier, helping take care of our little boys, they never imagined when they came to this country 40 years ago. And now we have lived an American dream that we want to pass on to these kids and their generation. And so the phase of our life where we were getting ahead for ourselves, making a good life for our family, this country's already given us that. This next chapter of our life and the next chapter of our journey in the next few years, and even the rest of this year, is about giving back to this country to create a country that I am worried for. But if we all do our part, and I've been asking that of you at every step of the way, asking patriots across this state and across this country to do their part, I promise you, if you did your part and you have, that we will do ours. And we're going to do our part now going forward to make sure that America First lives on, to make sure that Donald Trump is successful as the next president of the United States, to make sure that it isn't some other puppet they trot out to make sure that they steal this country out from underneath us. We're not going to let that happen. We're going to take this movement to the next level. And I think after that, it's another 250 years and then some still left ahead of us. And if you all continue to join us in this journey, I'm going to ask you to do that. We're just getting warmed up. If you all do your part, and we're going to do ours, our best days as a nation still will as yet be ahead of us. So thank you guys.
Very well said.
God bless you and your families. And
I need
God
to talk
bless
with
our
you all
United
about this
States of
significance
America.
of the
Appreciate
debate.
that, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. 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 We better be ready to. We better be ready to. It's what needs to be done, Kathleen, in this country. It's what needs to be done. We need to put an end. Everything that I stood for, I said to you this in the beginning of the race. We'd rather speak the truth and lose this election than to win by playing some fake game of political snakes and ladders. And so here's the thing about me. Whatever it is in the next phase that we do, I'm not going to be changing what I say to dance to any tune other than the one that's the best for this country.
Good for him.
You have my word on that. Everything that we stood for.
I want to hold you to that word.
Shutting down 75% of the federal bureaucracy, actually standing for 3 branches of government rather than 4, reviving our missing national purpose as Americans, filling that void in the mind of the next generation that is lost. We will continue on that journey.
He's got to shorten down his 10 Commandments thing. It's too long. No one remembers it all. It all sounds really good for a speech, but that's not too many bullet points. You have to zero in on just a couple.
And make sure we accomplish that in whatever best way we can. To be honest with you, the best way I could have done it is as your next president. And that's why we made the choice we did for the last year. But that's not our choice. That doesn't belong to us. That belongs to the people of this country. And in some deeper sense, it belongs to God, actually. And so we will make sure that if I have, whatever I do, Kathleen, I cannot be your next president unless the people of this country vote for it. But whatever we do, we will do our part to make sure everything that we have told you we're going to do for this country We will do everything in our power. We will stop at nothing. We will not hold ourselves back. Everything we can while speaking the truth at every step. I'm going to work hard to make sure that, yes, we protect the borders of this nation. That, yes, we shut down the deep state that is the threat to our future existence of our nation. That we revive national pride in these kids and their generation. So everything we said still stands. We're going to do everything in our power to make it so. I could have done it best as your next president, but the people of this country, the choice belongs to them, and we're going to respect the choice that they made. And I'm going to ask you to respect the choice that we make in actually leading this forward. So we love you back. We love all of you for being part of this movement. Tomorrow night, I expect, we have some, we might actually just get to spend a night sleeping in our bed in Ohio for the first time in a long time. We might just be heading there right from here, and I think that's a decision we just made. But tomorrow, I'm going to appear with Donald Trump at a rally in New Hampshire to lay out what I see and what we see for the future of the country.
Good for him.
And you know what? We're going to do our part to save this country. And I'm going to ask you guys to celebrate not the end of this campaign, but the beginning of the next phase of our movement. So may our best days be ahead of us, guys. God bless you and your families, and we love you all.
Well done.
And we're not going
well
anywhere,
done.
Guys. So thank you. And you know what? Let's turn on the music and keep this party going. Thank you, guys. God bless you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
All right, that looks like the end of it.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have a few thoughts for y'all. About Vivek and his impact on America with his campaign. Okay. One of the things that I was explaining as to why it is that Trump was so successful in pitching MAGA is that a lot of it he left undefined so that people can attach to MAGA what they think MAGA actually means. Whether that's reverence for Donald Trump individually, whether that's found America first, whether that's foundational values, which that's not the same thing, right? Putting America before looking out for American interests first is not exactly the same thing as foundational values. How it is that we view what MAGA is, this movement, what it is something that Donald Trump has, I think, purposefully left amorphous. And that because that enables you, and I'm talking to each of you as individuals, to basically make your own determination as to what it is and hopefully ascribe something positive to it without him saying something that's going to leave you feeling like, well, that's not what I'm about. So it sort of has a broader appeal when he leaves it with that vague "Make America Great Again." And I think that was purposeful, and I think that was part of his marketing skill. What Vivek differed in was that he actually started giving a definition, very, very firm definition, where he comes up with his 10 commandments as to what it is that, the 10 ideals that he put out there. And every one of them that he listed, I was like, yeah. Now, I understand a lot of you look at Vivek as a grifter or a fake, or you have all sorts of different issues in trusting him. And I understand he looks like a used car salesman. Let's face it. I mean, he looks so slick back, and he's basically this guy no one ever heard of a year ago who, was everywhere. I mean, everywhere. And, people talking, some people talking seriously about, potential candidate. I'm talking about him for 2028. I can understand where it's like, you sort of like, who is this guy? I even made comments myself when I first saw him on the scene that I don't know if this deal's for real, this guy's for real, or if he's like another Rasputin, which is a reference to a guy from 130 years ago, 110 years ago in Russia, who was like had a Svengali hole over the Tsar's family. And he was a complete fraud. So I was like, I don't know what he is. And I'll tell you right now, I still don't know for sure what he is. And I think over the next several years, we'll get a better feeling for it. But this is one of the things that I think we should feel indebted to Vivek for. First of all, I think that the way he left here displayed a certain level of class. And I think that, and I'll talk about the impact that this one could foresee having on the election going forward. But I think that he helped to define MAGA in ways that Trump refused to do. Perhaps because Trump himself might have an amorphous view on things. or because of marketing reasons. But you see in Trump's policies, in his speech tonight that he gave in his victory, and it was a dominant victory. Let's pull up those numbers just because, the numbers should be wrapping up soon. Let me pull that up here.
Thank you.
All right. Not that. Let me pull up those numbers. 95% of the votes are in. He's at 51%. So this dominance that Trump has displayed, and he's never really had to define MAGA, and Vivek here is really helping him sculpt. If you heard what Trump was saying tonight, these are things where he's talking about, like trimming the fat in Washington, which is what we all understood to him saying in a way would drain the swamp. If you drain the swamp, one easy way to drain the swamp is to get rid of these various agencies which are infested with swamp creatures. So, how do you actually do that? If you're going to keep all those jobs there, you have to fill them with new people who don't have the skills, background, training, experience to fill those roles. Otherwise, they're already in the swamp. So the easiest way to drain the swamp is to cut off sections of the swamp and say, you're gone, adios. And it seems as if he has helped move Trump in a direction that is healthy. So even if Vivek was a complete shyster, even if everything he said was a lie and a con, and those of us who sat there nodding our heads and saying, hell yeah, that it's not what he really is about. Which personally, I don't believe that to be the case. Do I know that he's not a con man? No. If you ask me my gut, gun to my head, do I think that what he was selling, he actually believes? I think preponderance of the evidence leans in his favor. And I'm happy to have the next 4 years to scrutinize Vivek and see what he's really about. It's a long time for us to see where he's coming from. He's going to have to, if it's all just a big, massive con, that's a long time for him to maintain this con. And one of the things I kept saying about Vivek is, at the very least, he's saying the right things, which is something you can't say about DeSantis and you can't say about Haley. You can't say about anyone who's a serious contender. So to me, I was like, at least he understands what we believe in. Whether he believes in himself, I don't know, but at least he's savvy enough about the cultural zeitgeist to understand what it is that Americans actually are looking for, what you and I actually care about, what we value, the direction that we're hoping for America to start shifting slowly back in that direction. The rest have no clue. They have no clue what direction to even go. How the hell can you be a captain of a ship when you have no idea what direction the ship should be going? Can't even express it. Can't even figure it out. Can't figure out that when you see a political rival of yours being persecuted through lawfare, that you stand up against that. They can't figure that out. They're like, I don't know. What do my polls say I should do? What do my polls say I should do? But Vivek intuitively understood what's the right thing. Would he have done the right thing? If he gets the seat of power in 28, will he do the right thing? I don't know. But here's the thing. What we should be grateful for is he has helped push Trump's agenda, at least what his stated agenda is, in a very healthy direction, in a direction that you and I, or at least most of my followers, tend to agree with, as far as what's a healthy direction for this country. And that is something that we should be grateful to Vivek for. That if he doesn't join this race, it would be the same amorphous messaging from Donald Trump, platitudes such as build the wall. Which, okay, yeah, we understand that. Building the wall doesn't explain. What about the 10 million coming in under Biden's watch? What are you going to do with that? Well, now we're hearing about deportations, which is an ugly word, but it's something that's necessary at this point. That's because he's listened to the growing popularity of Vivek, and he's mirroring it. And do I need it to be Donald Trump's original thought? No, I don't. I just need him to be moving the ship in the right direction. So that's what we all need. We all need him moving in the right direction. At least now he has someone who helped give him some guidance in that perspective. Someone who understood cultural zeitgeist. Someone understood the mindset of most people who identify as MAGA. It's ironic that Trump is taking cues about what MAGA is all about from someone who is a competitor who a couple days ago he said is not MAGA, which I felt that was insecurity that was being displayed by Trump. But the point that I'm making here is that is a contribution that Vivek has made to America. Assuming that Trump does win, which we're all hopeful that he will. Assuming Trump does win, which I'll tell you right now, I'm 100% supporting Donald Trump from here on out. I was a little bit torn because of Vivek and leaning towards Trump because of these political persecutions. But I'm telling you right now, I am formally giving my endorsement to Donald Trump. And I am looking forward to him winning this election, God willing, in November 2024. I want to see him dominate Nikki Haley and DeSantis. I can't wait for them to step down. This is it. This is it. We're jumping in. Both feet. Jumping right in. This is it. It's Trump or it's just another swamp creature. That's our choices. Trump or a swamp creature. I can respect RFK Jr., but there's enough difference there that it's got to be Trump. That's it. There's no one else. It's just Donald. For 24. So, that being said, what can we expect looking forward into the New Hampshire primaries and the future caucuses and primaries? What I would expect is that this should give a nice little bump to Donald. Hopefully, the people I would imagine that at least 80% of Vivek supporters. And let's look at, if we're looking at these numbers here, he's finishing with 8,300 votes at 7.7% is what Vivek took in Iowa. With more than 95% of the votes in. So imagine if he was at 58% here. That's how we could be looking at this. Can you imagine Donald Trump coming out of New Hampshire with 55 plus? It ends everything. I mean, how much longer can DeSantis and Haley stay in the race and stand that abuse? And it starts awakening the Republican Party that this is your leader. This is it. This is it. For better or for worse. You can love him, you can hate him. This is it. You don't like it? Move on. Get out. Move aside. This is Trump's time. And I'll tell you this much. His first administration, he was phenomenal. I was listening to Radio Politics earlier tonight, and he was saying that he thinks that he'll be better in his second administration. I don't know. Maybe he will be. Maybe he won't. I don't know. There's always different plans for his second administration. God, I hope so. I hope so. But if he does as well as he did in his first, I think that we'll see a lot less of the games near the end of his second administration because there's less for them to gain. Once he's in a second time, assuming he manages to win this election, assuming that the corruption isn't so deep, because I'll tell you right now, I think in a fair fight, he destroys anyone who runs against him. If it's an actual fair fight, which I know it won't be. I'm not naive. I understand it won't be a fair fight. In an actual fair fight, I think he dominates. I think he would take 40 states in a fair fight. It's not going to be a fair fight. He's not going to take 40 states. But in a fair fight, I think he would dominate. And I think that even in a rigged fight, I think that there's enough there for him to pull this out convincingly. Hopeful. Ultimately, a lot of this depends on events that will unfold over the next 10 months that you and I cannot possibly predict. It's way too early for anyone to tell you what's going to be in November. In January 2020, on January 15, 2020, nobody envisioned what would happen with COVID, with George Floyd, with Hunter Biden laptop being suppressed, with just the elections being twisted, election rules being twisted. So anyone's making any sort of prediction as to what's going to happen in November 2024, they're either an airhead or they're lying to you. Because nobody knows. There's just too many factors that we don't know. But I will tell you this is Trump's party now. It is. And I'm hoping that these primaries, they don't have much of that DeSantis and Nikki Haley don't have much of a shelf life. And Vivek dropping out and likely ceding a vast majority of his support over to Donald Trump just ends it much faster. And Republican or the cucks support the DeSimps and the Nikki Nimrods. They can sit there whining and crying about how they wish that we can just send more money to Ukraine, and we should go to war, and we should basically, be raising up, pretend that we're living in 1985. But America's woken up. By the way, if you could like and subscribe while you're here, I would be much obliged. Much obliged. I should also mention that you can find me on Locals, where I share a lot more of my thoughts, which is the goodlogic.locals.com. Tonight, I was engaged in a debate it was a 4-on-4 brawl debating January 6th, which was a really entertaining fight, which I was streaming directly to Locals, courtesy of Destiny. Let me get to some of these chats. Should I move forward and go forward with the whole Fani Willis thing? Let's see what you guys say. Joe, look up starting strength. You need to start lifting weights and get ripped. You'll be better. Ripped Lawgic. I'll tell you right now, I used to work out like a freaking crazy animal. 10 years ago, I was like the most ripped Jew over 40 you've ever seen. Orthodox Jew. I used to work out like an animal. I understand how to get ripped. I was much more bulked than Viva is now when I was his age. But that's not to detract from Viva. He looks fit as anything. Dude looks like he's freaking shredded. I wasn't blowing smoke. But what I'm saying is, you're preaching to the choir. It's a matter of me actually just getting out and doing it, which I'm very close to it. John Anthony Cash was indicted last week on 33 counts of aiding the preparation of false tax returns. I'm so thrilled about this. In case you don't know who John Anthony Castro is, he's one of the people who started these Section 3 get Trump off the ballot. So 14th Amendment get Trump off the ballot thing. So not enough bad things, illegal bad crap can happen to John Anthony Castro. Vivek made a solid press secretary for what it's worth. I agree with you. He would be great. Joe has been really busy digging into the past, religious buildings, etc. Really? That's your best? People have to shout far on why the Democrats are planning to turn out and forcing the 20 open primary states to vote for Nikki. Yeah, well, you know what? I think this really helps. I think this really helps a lot. Kathleen is the new Karen. Shut up, silly woman. I heard DeSantis' speech was completely delusional. He gave a speech also? Is there a DeSantis speech? Wow, can't find any tweets from GOP or Ronald McDonald. LOL, sore losers. I can't, yeah. Glad you're finally supporting Donald J. Trump 100%. You're a little slow sometimes, but I've been leaning very strong towards Donald Trump. You haven't heard me say a single like bad thing about people voting for Trump. And I've been very strongly anti-DeSantis and Haley in this thing. So follower number 789 reporting in. Sir Clips a lot. Tunnel B7 is completely working on the compound. The new leisure seats are great. Yeah, the leader. I am not the leader of the following. If you're a member of the following, I'm not your leader. I'm a follower just like you. You know, I'm not the lead. I'm definitely not the leader of the following. The people who sub up to my channel, they are called followers. This is the following program, but I am not the leader of the following. I'm just a follower. The following is not at all a cult type of cult. Very not cult type of cult. There's no squirrel mutilations, no goat sacrifices, no virgins thrown into volcanoes, no tracksuits, official tracksuits, no mandatory tracksuits. Maybe recommended. No Kool-Aid, no self-harm, no harming others. It's just about unity, community, and greater personal growth. No discussion of the Cowboys meltdown. Go Lions. You had to? Really? I was still in such a good mood. You had to? Really? All I can say is a door closes and a window to Bill Belichick opens. And I know, I'm not going to talk football here other than tell you, I know Dak Prescott said, well, if you're going to blame McCarthy, you should blame me too. Yeah, you know what? Unless you were one of the people who were overseeing the 20-yard deep coverage on 3rd and 12, I don't think it's on you, Dak. I don't think that 41 out of the 48 points, I mean, the pick 6 is on you, but yeah, I don't think that 41 points from your defense is on you, Dak. So yeah, a window opens to Bill Belichick. We can only hope. How does your wife feel about you letting yourself go? Is she a hot lady? What do you mean letting myself go? Why is everyone making it like all of a sudden I'm like Nick Rekieta level fat? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean, letting myself go? Gosh, that's not cool. What is the over under the cases Sanders files for divorce within 5 years? I don't know. don't know. Vivek for AG, he'd go after everyone. That would be cool. That would be really, really cool. Let me see if I can find a speech from if I can find a speech. Oh, Faux Peasy says 300K. This is talking about how many Ukrainians died. Probably additional from the time that they had to deal and table that Boris tanked. I don't know. Anything's possible. Right, let me see. I was kidding about Nick being fat. I was kidding about that. It was an inside joke. It was an inside joke. Let me see if I can find DeSantis. Did he get something inspirational tonight? What a disaster for him. Yeah. Okay, fine. Get back to the gym. I'm not seeing him speak. Did you guys see him speak? Did you guys see him speak? Haley gave a speech too? I'm looking for it. All right, let me try finding it here. Here it is. Here it is. I'm seeing an ad. I'm getting an ad first. I gotta get through the ad. This better be go right into the speech. NBC News.
Iowa. You know, I want to say before we start, when you go through something like this, you can't do it unless you have a faith. And God is so good.
Third place. Third place.
And I want to say to my husband, who is deployed, who I know may or may not be watching this right now, Michael, I love you. And what keeps me going is I know we sleep under the same stars. So I want to say to Rena and
Look at her like trying to invoke, like my husband is in the military.
Josh and Nayland, I am so proud of you.
Just concede.
The best job I will always have is being your mom. I want to thank my parents who are at home every day. They reminded us how blessed we were to live in America.
What is the whole thank you? It was a freaking one-day caucus. You're running in a freaking election. What's all the thank yous? You make it sound like you won something. You finished in third. You spent more money than anyone and finished third.
To thank my sweet brother who came out here and was caucusing for me.
You're a failure. You're an utter failure.
A good Desert Storm veteran, and I want to thank my other siblings there. I want to thank Michael's parents, Bill and Carol Haley, who've been fantastic along the way as well. You can't do this without the strength of your family. I want to congratulate President Trump on his win tonight. We have had an amazing 11 months here in the Hawkeye State.
Amazing third place finish.
I came to Iowa early and often, and I kept coming back.
And they still said you suck.
Even though the cold weather is brutal. But the kindness of Iowans will never be lost on me. You're faithful, patriotic, and hardworking Americans. And I will forever be grateful for the time that we had.
I guess she's talking to the 200 Iowans who voted for her.
At one point in this campaign, there were 14 of us running. I was at 2% in the polls. But tonight, Iowa did what Iowa always does so well. The pundits will analyze the results from every angle. We get that. But when you look at how we're doing in New Hampshire, in South Carolina, and beyond,
Only the Sleep Number Smart Bed lets you each choose your individual firmness and comfort, your Sleep Number setting, and actively cools or warms up to 13 degrees on either side. Save 40% on the Sleep Number Special Edition Smart Bed, plus 0% interest for 36 months when you add an adjustable base. Ends Monday, only at Sleep Number.
They threw everything but the kitchen sink at us. We love you too.
This is terrible. You stink, NBC News. It's like they're meant for like people who have like the attention span of a 9-year-old.
They threw everything but the kitchen sink at us. They spent almost $50 million attacking us. No one's faced that much all the way just through Iowa.
No one cares about you. No one cares. No one's attacking you. I mean, I guess Trump called him like, desanctimonious, but it's like, no, you just suck.
The media was against us. They were writing our obituary.
The media was totally in the tank for you. Totally in the tank for you. Fox News basically put your face as their logo. Media. Idiots.
3 months ago, they even called the election before people even got a chance to vote.
Okay, I'm getting tired of this whining. I'm getting tired of the crying and the whining and the crying. You're making me regret the fact that I was hoping you would finish second over Haley. I guess someone had to finish second.
But they were just so excited about the fact that they were predicting that we wouldn't be able to get our ticket punched here out of Iowa. But I can tell you, because of your support, in spite of all of that they threw at us, everyone against us, we've got our ticket punched out of Iowa.
You got your butt punched out of Iowa. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Dude got 51%. 51%.
And what I learned by going around Iowa is that this country has a basic decency. We've got hardworking people, God-fearing people, patriotic people. You just don't see it every day because of all the nonsense that gets spewed out there by the media, by social media, all this other stuff. People want to have hope for this country's future, and that's what we represent. We represent a chance to reverse the madness that we've seen in this country, to reverse the decline of this country, and to give this country a new birth of freedom and a restoration of sanity. That's what we are going to do.
All right.
We have another election alert that's happened in real time.
That's enough. That's enough out of you idiots. NBC News, you suck. That was really weak. Give me a minute and a half of these idiots. Please put on the DeSantis speech. I'm begging you. There was more? Was there more that I have to see, Malcolm? I'm not saying you're fat, Joe. Just lift, bro. As you get older, it's more important. Barbells for life. Yeah. All right. I gotta sort of adjust my schedule. It's not easy. It's not easy working till like 1 o'clock in the morning and then like getting up and finding time to go to the gym. It's not easy. I've been watching my diet. Ding with shovels good for the upper body. Yeah, you don't have to tell me. All witnesses of the DeSantis speech died of overwhelming boredom. Were you really that jacked when you were smoking? I was smoking and jacked. I was. I would literally like put out a cigarette and walk into the gym. See, I was brazen enough to pew JFK. They won't like their agenda interrupted again. Let's pray that that's not true. At least he's protected by Secret Service, so that's something. Vivek VP, Kash Patel AG, Mike Flynn Secretary of Defense, and let Tucker report it all as press. I'd be okay with that lineup. Why suck when you can swallow Ron DeSantis? I did say Ron's speech was delusional. He's crazy. He's crazy. We punched our ticket here. What ticket did you punch? They were all praying that the polls were just a mirage. That's what they were all praying. They were expecting, I'm telling you now, they were all expecting that these polls would show that Trump was going to take more than half of, we're going to get more than half the votes, that it was just like I was seeing these different headlines that were basically saying that Nikki Haley was within 10 points of Trump. And he's still in the front, but it's like he's down to 35%. It's like they're out of their minds. They're crazy. Hashtag never making means not ever. Amen. That begging chat was sent before it was put on. Oh, okay. Cool. All right. Let me check up over here. Hans says, if General was held today, Biden, Haley, RFK, who would you vote for? RFK. Not even close. Definitely RFK. Yeah, I'll tell you right now. And if RFK wasn't there and it was Biden v. Haley, I would probably lean towards Biden. That's how much I dislike Haley. I would probably vote for Biden over Haley. That's how terrible she is. She's a disaster. This is a woman whose political career must die as soon as possible. It's got to be vanquished. She's a swamp creature. And having a swamp creature go back into the White House wearing a red tie or a red blazer or red skirt and her stupid fake teeth. I'm sorry. No. Never again. Can't do it. Not someone who's so vividly a swamp creature. I'll ask you, if you had a choice between Mitch McConnell and Biden, why would you support? Why would anyone support this? This is Mitch McConnell, but with like a war hawk agenda that's just frightening. Terrible. All right. I think it's time for me to start landing my plane. C-SPAN has DeSantis speech. All right, let me see if I can find C-SPAN. C-SPAN. How long a speech is it? "12 minutes.
Come to bear against Ron DeSantis.
Yeah.
That's why this is not over.
It's not over.
Tonight it is just beginning.
Oh my gosh! Hold on, this is great.
When they do that on Twitter,
This is like, no, this was not a crushing loss.
Conservatives, they're laughing and giggling that the media tried to call this race before people ever voted in
That's not why we're laughing that you're crying about it.
numerous precincts in Iowa. Funny how that works when it's your guy and they're calling Arizona before people are done voting. Well, that requires an investigation and stop the steal. When they do this,
Well, you think Arizona, that they shouldn't have tried stopping the steal? This is why DeSantis is a loser. This is why. This is the schmuck who stands up for him. That's like, oh, like as if he's on the other side of the argument from the Republicans about stopping the steal in Arizona. What the hell's wrong with you? My God, you're a fantastic joke, fat slob.
To your opponent, however, that's just good journalism, good media. That's the double standard. That's the double standard that we are up against here. And you know why? Because there is one candidate in this race that has actually beat the system, that has actually destroyed the Democratic Party.
You're out of your mind. This guy's delusional.
One. And it's Ron. That's right. That's why this is not over.
Dude, if you could import your supermajority from the Florida State Assembly over to Congress, yeah, he might be able to get something done. But short of that, no. And your loser, pathetic comment there about Arizona was a tell. It was a tell as to how terrible DeSantis and his following is.
In fact, tonight it is just beginning.
Just beginning.
It's a two-person race now. Iowa has made that very clear. There is no
Which two people? Which two people? What, you finished a percentage point ahead of Nikki Haley? So that's a two-person race now?
no place for the last gasp of the Republican corporatist establishment, Nikki Haley. She is done.
Same corporatist as DeSantis.
And so now we will have a real fight between whether or not we're going to return to someone who has proven all he knows how to do is lose to Democrats, him and his candidates for the last 3 cycles.
All he knows how to do is lose to Democrats. That's all he knows how to do. Dude took down Hillary Clinton. Idiot. Dude took down Biden. But idiots like you were like, hey, why are you screaming about that's the deal? Idiot.
That's all they've done.
Doofus.
Is lose to Democrats.
Go get your
Or
stupid log
if
cabin.
the rest of the country will say, you know what, I'm tired of losing to these guys. Let's go with the guy who actually knows how to beat them, and that is Ron DeSantis.
No, I got to tell you something. I don't care about the Republicans winning. I don't care about that. I care about having someone in there who's going to actually have an agenda that I can support, not some corporate agenda like your dude.
So thank you all very much for everything you did. I love that God over government sign. That's my heart right there. What I love also is we are undergoing a generational shift in America.
Yeah, there is. Where we see through people like Ron DeSantis.
DeSantis did very well, even won the youngest voters here tonight. That's very exciting for the future. And that
Talk about delusional. He thinks DeSantis has a future.
That is because Ron DeSantis is the future, and that future
there you
is
go.
now. And we're going to move forward after Iowa and keep this fight going. No coronations. You're going to have to actually win this thing, regardless of what Fox News thinks.
Yeah, Fox News, they're really in Trump's corner. Yeah, really deep in his corner. Idiots.
And with that, I want to bring out my good friend, Bob Vander Plaats. Thank you.
All right, let's. Who's this? Who's this Yoko?
I am so proud of Iowans. Not the snow, not the ice, not the wind chill. You
Half of you came out and voted for the other guy. So proud of you.
still turned out. Congratulations. I said right away early on that the goal of this is you punch 2 tickets out of the state of Iowa. And Ron DeSantis is one of those tickets coming out of
What are you talking about? What does that mean? You punch 2 tickets. What does that mean?
the state of Iowa. You know, when Darla and I raised our boys, we used to say, you know, you're never going to be right when you do what's wrong, but you will never be wrong when you do what's right. And supporting Governor Ron DeSantis was the right thing to do.
Oh, sure. Haley would be more competent at destroying this nation than Biden. Yeah, that's why I said Biden.
So I've been
so
thrilled to
magically
stand
is
with
closer
him in
to
the
him.
state of Iowa.
Really?
I'm thrilled we accomplished our goal that he now goes on to New Hampshire
Really?
and South Carolina as one of the 2 where now America gets
Sad.
a choice and America gets a chance to choose. but I'm also thrilled to stand with somebody else who you know very well. And when she went in and endorsed Governor DeSantis, I thought that's a clear about who I should endorse. Please welcome your governor, Kim Reynolds.
You suck, Kim Reynolds.
Let's go, Iowa!
All right. I don't need to hear from Kim Reynolds and another moron.
I want to endorse Governor
Let's hear from.
DeSantis.
All right. Let's hear his stupid 6
Attacking
minutes
us.
here.
No one's faced that much all the way just through Iowa. The media was against us. They were writing our obituary months ago. They even called the election before people
I agree.
even got a chance
Completely
to vote.
delusional.
But they were just so
Yeah, she did. Kim Reynolds endorsed him.
about the fact that they were predicting that we wouldn't be able to get our ticket punched here out of Iowa. But I can tell you, because of your support, in spite of all of that they threw at us, everyone against us, we've got our ticket punched out of Iowa.
Why do people think that? I guess they figure that Trump finished second in Iowa, so that whoever is in the top 2 out of Iowa actually means something. I don't think they realize that Trump finished within 3 percentage points of Cruz, as opposed to you, who didn't finish within 30 percentage points of Trump.
And what I learned by going around Iowa is that this country has a basic decency. We've got hardworking people, God-fearing people, patriotic.
Yeah, that's probably
people.
true.
You just don't see it every day because of all the nonsense that gets spewed out there by the media, by social media, all this other stuff. People want to have hope for this country's future, and that's what we represent. We represent a chance to reverse the madness that we've seen in this country, to reverse the decline of this country, and to give this country a new birth of.
Now, fans is asking me, Biden, Ron, RFK lineup, who would you vote for? Probably RFK. I wouldn't have said that 3 months ago, but everything that Ron has done on this, probably RFK.
Freedom and a restoration of sanity. That's what we are going to do. So we have our marching orders. Our marching orders are to do all we can to preserve what George Washington called the sacred fire of liberty. The same fire that burned in Philadelphia in 1776 when our founding fathers
Ooh, man, you're
signed the
invoking
Declaration of
1776?
Independence. The same sacred fire of liberty.
Yeah, you're very
that burned
foundational.
in the cemetery in Gettysburg when our first Republican president, Abraham Lincoln, pledged our nation to a new birth of freedom.
Lousy
The
president. Lincoln was a lousy president. Terrible president. Awful president.
Same sacred fire of liberty that was on the beaches of Normandy in 1944 when our band of brothers stormed those shores and helped free the world. The same sacred fire of liberty that was at the Berlin Wall in 1987 when Ronald Reagan stood there and said, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall."
Him invoking Ronald Reagan, it sounds to me almost like Fani invoking Dr. King.
This is our responsibility to carry this torch and to preserve this sacred fire of liberty.
So is this
Don't
guy.
run away from this responsibility. We welcome this responsibility. We thank you for your effort. We thank you for your support. You helped us get a ticket punched out of the Hawkeye State. We have a lot of work to do, but I can tell you this, as the next president of the United States, I am going to get the job done for this country. I am not.
Maybe it's his voice. I'm trying to figure out why he has so little
I am not going to make
charisma.
any excuses, and I guarantee you this, I will not let you down. Thank you all. God bless you. Thank you so much.
He's out of his mind.
Appreciate you.
He's out of his mind. The Simps are so sad. They're so sad. Should we check out more of Nikki Haley's idiocy? We'll check out Nikki Haley and then I'll wrap this thing up. Let's see how long she went for. Oh, this is really long. Oh my God. I can't stand. Oh, it's not 20 minutes long. Okay. So I got like the first 2.5 minutes of her speech. So we'll start here. I can't stand her. I don't know if I'm going to make it a full 10 minutes.
At one point in this campaign, there were 14 of us running. I was at 2% in the polls. But when you look at how we're doing in New Hampshire, in South Carolina,
Seriously, Southern Mom. God. All right, this is where I think NBC News cut her off. Maybe they got a headache from her also.
I can safely say tonight, Iowa made this Republican primary a two-person race.
What? 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 What are you talking about? You finished third. You finished third. Which two people? That includes you. Yeah, I agree.
Tonight, I will be back in the great state of New Hampshire. And the question before Americans is now very clear. Do you want more of the same?
You are more of the same.
Do you want a new generation of conservative leadership?
Oh, God. You're about as conservative as Obama. Well, I agree with her. It's a two-person race. Well, it's a one-person, and then I guess maybe she means it's a two-man race for second. Maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt here that she's not insane.
I've spoken a lot of hard truths to America.
I mean this seriously, by the way, just for a second. What the hell does that mean? It's a two-person race when you finish third. I've never heard someone finish third and say, well, now it's a two-person race. What the hell does that even mean? Maybe she's on crack.
And here's another one.
Oh, God.
I voted for Donald Trump twice.
Oh, God.
I was proud to serve in his administration. But when I say more
He
of
did
the
sound
same,
terrible.
you know what I'm talking about. It's both Donald Trump and Joe Biden. They have more in common than you think. 70% of Americans don't want another Trump-Biden rematch.
Who cares? Who cares? Who the hell cares? And Biden's probably not going to be there anyway.
A majority disapprove of both of them. Trump and Biden are both about 80 years old. Trump and Biden both put our country trillions of dollars deeper in debt.
Oh, that's
and our
such a
kids
ridiculous
will never
thing.
forgive them for it.
Oh, shut up. Yeah, you want to start 47 new wars.
Trump
That's not going to put us
and
deeper in
Biden
debt.
Both lack a vision for our country's future because
I
both
see it. I'll
are
pull it up.
consumed by the past, by investigations, by vendettas, by grievances. America deserves better.
America rejected you. I guess they lit up the applause sign. I can't listen to this third place loser. I can't. That's all I can give you from her. Sorry. That's all I can give you from her. I'm going to share this last thing here that Debbie was at. I think it was Debbie asking us. Share. It was Debbie. Yeah.
In this country, we are worried.
This is supposed to be a meltdown, I guess, from MSNBC. So this should be funny. Let's hear them crying tonight. Let's hear them crying.
And the big picture takeaway from that, and I don't mean to be, again, too dark, as you said, on this, but it is not, if we are worried about the rise of authoritarianism in this country, we are worried about potential
The rise of authoritarianism. They're still selling this delusion that he's a big authoritarian.
rise of fascism in this country.
Oh, fascism. Fascism. If we're worried about the rise of Adolfism.
We're worried about our democracy falling to an authoritarian and
our democracy is falling. It's falling. Oh my gosh.
potentially fascist form of government. The leader who is trying to do that is part of that equation. But people wanting that is a much bigger part of that.
Oh, we got to stop Red MAGA. Stop Red MAGA.
Right. And the American electorate is made up of two major parties. One of those parties has been flirting with extremism on the ultra-right.
Oh, I think you meant extremism on the ultra-left. You're the ones who are being authoritarian. You're the ones who are clamping down. You're the ones who are surveilling people and violating free speech in ways that shock the conscience and are the worst abuse of free speech in history. But apparently that's not part of authoritarianism. That's what Judge Terry Dowdy said.
For a very long time, they've brought them in a way that they haven't been central to Republican electoral politics ever before. And I know because I've been studying this. But
you don't know because you clearly have been ignoring all the abuses of civil rights that the Biden administration has engaged in, you jackass.
once you have radicalized one major party so that those are the preferences of the people who adhere to your party.
The preferences of the left are that it's totally fine. It's totally fine to abuse civil liberties of people I disagree with. Like this lunatic Joy Reid over here.
The leader's interchangeable. And yes, Trumpism is sometimes what we call it. MAGA movement is probably a better way to do it. But there is.
See? You see? She's saying the quiet part out loud. She's saying the quiet part out loud. It's not Trump they're after. It's you. It's you. It's you they're after. She's saying the quiet part out loud. It's not Trump. It's not Trumpism. It's you. You who believe in American foundational values. You who believe in freedom, in freedoms that this country was founded on. You are the enemy. That's what she's saying. The quiet part out loud. You're the problem.
It's an authoritarian movement inside Republican politics that isn't being bamboozled by Trump. They are pushing Trump to get more and more extreme because the more extreme things he says, the more they adhere to him.
And the more you persecute him, the more he gets love. But you're so stupid or such a liar that you can't admit that.
It's coming from a very large proportion of the American right that adheres to the Republican Party. And that's why this is a Republican Party problem more than it is the problem of one man and his.
6 idiots gathered around a table. Look at that. Look at that gathering there. Look at this gathering here. 6 clowns. Total clowns who profess that they're political pundits, they're political experts. These idiots sitting here projecting their confession about authoritarianism. Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Am I the only one so angry she and Ron never mentioned the political persecutions? It's Democrats who are fascist. Amen. 100%. 100%. Greg says, I used to be leftist back when there was anti-war and Occupying Wall Street. That's pretty recent, Occupying Wall Street. But now the left is doing what I always hate about the right. Nikki's the old school right and new school left. Yes, she is. That's great. That's right. That's right. There's a reason people call her, Nikki Clinton. She looks exactly like Hillary. Exactly like her. Flip-flopping and warmongering. Unbelievable. Welcome to the right. All right. I think I'm going to land my plane here. It's already 12:40. It's 12:40. Sorry I didn't get to finish Fani Willis and her whole I am a prophet and I'm God's messenger. And I will strike thee down with great vengeance. Those who stand against the Democratic Party. Oh, God. So terrible. So many terrible people in this world. So many terrible people. How can I point them all out to you? How can I point them all out to you? So many of them. So many of them. All right. It's time for me to land my plane. Send you on your merry way to greener pastures. Although this was a pretty green pasture. This was a pretty good one. This is a pretty good night. pretty good night. Joy Reid looks like she does look freaky. She does. All right. Landing my plane here. God willing, I'll be back here tomorrow evening at 10 p.m. I might have a guest. I have a guy who I'm thinking about bringing on tomorrow who seems very eager to come on, who's all about BlackRock. He's all about exposing the WEF. He's all about exposing Klaus Schwab. He's done more research on this than anyone else I've found. So I might be bringing him in here. You probably never heard of him before, but that's okay. Sometimes it's nice to hear from an expert. I urge you to follow me on Locals, which is goodlogic.locals.com. That's goodlogic.locals.com. Like, share, subscribe right here, YouTube, Rumble, wherever you're watching this, or on Twitter. Get a little like thing. That'd be cool. And I will see you all tomorrow evening. It's time for me to wish you well, send you on your merry way, tell you to stay happy, eat the bugs, and Godspeed. Good night, y'all.